Apocalypse. In the first 7 days, I frantically stockpile 300 billion in supplies. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101. Wang Min urges his life. Because they are all living beings, they cannot be taken into the supernatural space, so when the secret base disappeared, they could no longer hide and appeared in front of Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan also discovered at this time that the so-called secret base turned out to be in the atmosphere. Xiao Fan took out 6 bone spears from his supernatural space at the same time, and threw them out. 6 interstellar iron beetles were hit at the same time. Val and another interstellar iron beetle fled desperately to the distance, but although their speed is fast, they are not as fast as the bone spear thrown by Xiao Fan. Val and the interstellar iron beetle also turned into corpses. Xiao Fan didn't take away the corpses this time, he just temporarily collected his supernatural space, recovered his body after reaching the ground, and then released all the interstellar iron beetle corpses from his supernatural space this time, and took them out. The crystal nucleus, and then took out all the useful bones, and he just threw the corpse away. Xiao Fan won a big victory this time, but he always felt that something was missing. The fundamental purpose of his adventure had not been achieved. He wanted to obtain the secret of interstellar iron beetle communication, but he failed to achieve this purpose. This made Xiao Fan feel very regretful. Suddenly Xiao Fan couldn't help but his eyes lit up. Maybe that guy Val really didn't deceive himself. There really was a language incubator in his secret base, and now his entire base is in his own ability space. Then I have enough time to find that language incubator. If I can find out the language incubator, wouldn't the purpose of my adventure be perfectly realized this time? Although Xiao Fan killed a lot of interstellar iron beetles, he didn't float at all. If he could kill so many interstellar iron beetles in the last battle of the last days, he must be very excited, but this time the situation is completely different. This time the interstellar iron beetle army must have many very powerful guys, and it is definitely not comparable to the last time in the last days, before I was reborn and returned to the end of the world. It may have caused changes in the end of the world, so this time in the end of the world, the interstellar iron beetle will definitely come to the powerful character of the interstellar iron beetle that would not come before, and it is not comparable to a small character like Val. Xiao Fan began to search carefully for the secret base in his supernatural space. Although this was only his guess, Xiao Fan believed in his intuition very much, and he would be able to find the language incubator from it. After about 20 minutes, Xiao Fan's search was completely over. He found a lot of small things, including 3 small balls emitting a halo. Xiao Fan could feel huge energy from them, but he didn't know about them. What exactly is it? There are also 2 silver flakes like fish scales. Xiao Fan is not sure what they are, but Xiao Fan does not feel any energy fluctuations from these flakes. Xiao Fan has a feeling that these flakes may be language incubators. Of course, Xiao Fan still doesn't dare to try rashly now, in case something goes wrong in his judgment, and an accident happens during the process of trying, then the real loss outweighs the gain. As for the 3 small light spheres in his hand, Xiao Fan also had his own guess. Could it be something like transforming the crystal nuclei left by those traitors? Of course, this is Xiao Fan's preliminary judgment. As for whether his own judgment is accurate, Xiao Fan is not completely sure, and how to use these 2 things, Xiao Fan has no idea. But Xiao Fan decided to try the fish scale flake and stuck it to his ear, but Xiao Fan didn't feel any abnormality. Xiao Fan thought that the way he used it might be wrong, but because he didn't know the correct way to use it, Xiao Fan didn't take off the sheet. Xiao Fan turned into an interstellar iron beetle and flew back to his underground fortress. When Xiao Fan appeared in front of Yu Wenli and Mu Hong, they all breathed a long sigh of relief. When Xiao Fan came back, they were completely relieved. Before they knew it, Xiao Fan had become their backbone. Only when Xiao Fan is by their side can they feel at ease. Xiao Fan roughly talked about her own experience, and both Yu Wenli and Mu Hong secretly felt fortunate that Xiao Fan had worked so hard for her resourcefulness, otherwise she might not be able to come back. Xiao Fan asked, "Is Fang Lin in the lab?" Mu Hong nodded and replied, "She is rushing to carry out relevant research in the laboratory. Now she has a supervisor who supervises her and can't rest for a moment. It is impossible for her to be lazy for a while." Mu Hong couldn't help laughing when she said that, and felt that what she said was very funny. Xiao Fan asked. You mean Fang Min? Yu Wenli also said with a smile, except for her sister. Who can be so cruel to her sister? Fang Min is now wholeheartedly wanting to awaken her ability earlier, and she can't find any way to awaken her ability. So I directed all the strength in my heart towards my sister, and I am very concerned about my sister, and I really don't want to let my sister relax for a moment, Mu Hong added. Fang Min's current state is almost similar to being possessed, and even his sister has set a certain limit on the time she can eat, sleep and go to the bathroom. I think if Fang Min doesn't awaken the power, Fang Lin might definitely have to go to the bathroom. Crazy. Xiao Fan couldn't help asking. Fang Fair, a mother, really can't control her eldest daughter at all. Yu Wenli sighed. She is a mother who is just a decoration. She can neither control her eldest daughter nor her youngest daughter. Now she can only control herself. Sometimes I look at her as a mother. I'm worried about her. I feel that what she did is a bit of a failure. Xiao Fan sighed. This is what makes every family have a hard to read scripture. Anyone who meets Fang Min will have nothing to do. She is stubborn and stubborn. Only Fang Lin, a younger sister, is willing to spoil her. I think changing her another person to be her younger sister, and a younger sister who has awakened supernatural powers will definitely not be able to stand this older sister. Yu Wenli nodded in agreement and said, if it was me, I really can't stand such a sister. Of course she is not my sister, which means she is very lucky. If she is my sister, I will definitely beat her hard one slap. She was so slapped that she couldn't even walk. Chapter 102. It has entered my body. Xiao Fan nodded and replied, let's go to the laboratory to have a look together. I happen to have something in my hand that I want to give to Fang Lin to study. Yu Wenli asked curiously, what is it for me to take a look at? Xiao Fan took out 3 small halo balls from his supernatural space, and Yu Wenli and Mu Hong each took one of them, felt it carefully, and could feel the huge power contained in these small balls. Energy, but I don't know what the ball is for. The 3 of them came to the laboratory, and as soon as they opened the door, they heard Fang Fair's voice saying, daughter, I know you are very anxious, but you really don't have to stare at me all the time in the laboratory. Looking at your sister, mother is also very lonely. How about going to fight the landlord with mother? Fang Min replied impatiently. I said, Mom, can you stop being so boring? The world is already full of holes, and you still have the mood to fight landlords with me? Besides, what kind of landlords are we two fighting? You just say fighting, can't I do it? Fang Fair said, if you think 2 people can't fight the landlord, just find someone else. Anyway, so many people are idle. Fang Min snorted, my good mother, don't bother me anymore, okay? I'm not in the mood to fight landlords at all right now. I just hope that my sister will produce the research results sooner. Fang Lin said helplessly, my good sister, don't stare at me here. It doesn't make any sense for you to stare at me here. Scientific research is a gradual process. It is impossible to say that you are staring at me here. It is impossible to make a breakthrough all at once. At this moment, Fang Fair saw Xiao Fan expectantly and said, my good brother, hurry up and persuade your eldest niece. The whole person is like a demon. Fang Fair's words came to an abrupt end, because she saw the haloing ball in Xiao Fan's hand, and couldn't help asking curiously, my dear brother, what are you holding in your hand? It looks very magical. Can you let my sister also take a look at what it is? Okay. Xiao Fan was speechless for a while. Her older sister knew how to play. She was really a girl's heart all her life. Xiao Fan said with a smile, this is the trophy I just got. Bring it here and let Fang Lin study what it is. Sister, if you want to see it, just take it and see it. Xiao Fan didn't pay too much attention to it, since it didn't look dangerous anyway, so Xiao Fan stuffed it into Fang Fair's hand, then looked at Fang Min and said, Fang Min, I said you are smart after all, is it still stupid? Fang Min snorted, Xiao Fan, what do I mean by you? How come you start scolding me when we meet? Why am I so stupid? Xiao Fan said very seriously, I know you are very anxious and want to awaken your abilities as soon as possible. I understand your feelings, but your current approach is really very stupid. Don't you know that science what research needs most is a research environment? You need to calm down and study, but you are staring at your own sister like this, which actually causes a lot of interference to your sister. You think your sister is still in the mood? Are you doing research? Are you still not convinced that you are very stupid to do so? Fang Min froze in place after hearing Xiao Fan's words. Xiao Fan looked at Fang Lin and said, Fang Lin, sometimes I really give in to you. Although you dote on your sister very much, you can't dote on her without limits. Seeing that your sister is becoming more and more doted on by you now, the more stupid you are, you must say something when you should say it, don't be embarrassed to say it." Just as Fang Lin was about to speak, she suddenly heard Fang Fair yell loudly. Everyone looked at Fang Fair, and then Fang Fair stared at her palm and said, "My dear brother, I want to say that the one you gave me just now." The ball suddenly entered my palm and disappeared, believe it or not. What happened? What exactly did you give me? How could it enter my body without causing me to mutate? Xiao Fan was stunned. He did not expect such a situation to happen. He held the 3 light spheres for a long time without any accidents, and the most important thing is that Yu Wenli and Mu Hong are still in the hands of one person. Take one, and there are no accidents. Why did Fang Fair have an accident after holding it for a short while? Originally, Xiao Fan was ready to rescue Fang Fair, thinking that something unexpected would happen to Fang Fair's body next time, but after Xiao Fan's Fang Fair's physical condition didn't change at all, just like a drop of water falling into a lake, it didn't cause any reaction at all, not even a ripple. Yu Wenli and Mu Hong were also completely stunned. Fang Lin was also puzzled by what kind of situation this was. She had experienced untold hardships when she awakened her abilities in an unexpected situation. My mother and myself are in the same situation, but now it looks completely different. It was Fang Fair who was the first to react, and asked in a panic, "My dear brother, what is going on? Why is there no reaction at all? Why can't I feel any changes in my body? I don't know this thing. Is it like a slow poison, and then slowly poison me to death?" Xiao Fan hastily comforted, "Listen to me, sister, don't panic now. Now you concentrate on feeling your body. Is it any different from before?" Fang Fair began to feel her body very obediently, and even closed her eyes slightly, and everyone stared at her face. After a full minute, Fang Fair opened her eyes. She looked at Xiao Fan, and everyone else looked at her, waiting for her to express her feelings, but what Fang Fair said made everyone feel deeply disappointed. She said, "If I were to say that my body hasn't changed in any way, my dear brother, would you think I was lying to you?" Xiao Fan let out a long sigh of relief and said, "It's okay, sister, as long as your body doesn't have any accidents, this is the best news for us." Fang Fair said regretfully, "But that little ball just disappeared for no reason. Don't you really feel it's a pity at all?" Xiao Fan said indifferently, "I didn't know what it was at first, and the more important thing is that there are 2 more, so as long as my sister is safe, everything will be fine." Chapter 103 Fang Fei and number 039, accidentally awakens his ability. She was full of emotion and said, "My good brother, I never thought that you would be so generous to my sister. My sister is really touched." Fang Fair stretched out her hand to pull Xiao Fan as she spoke, but it was such a simple action that stunned Xiao Fan and the others, thinking it was her eyesight, because the moment Fang Fair stretched out her right hand, an illusory hand of energy grabbed Xiao Fan's shoulder. Fang Fair was taken aback by herself. She threw her hand back in panic, and then an even more incredible scene happened. A bright silver illusory palm hit the wall behind her, and the wall collapsed half. Xiao Fan hurriedly shouted, "Good sister, listen to me, don't move now, don't move any parts, you seem to have awakened a supernatural power. And it's a very powerful supernatural power, but you can't control your body at all right now. Ability, any action can cause great damage. I don't know when you grabbed me just now, if my brother and I were not a power awakener, my shoulder would definitely be shattered." Hearing Xiao Fan's words, Fang Fair was so frightened that he didn't dare to move at all. Mu Hong said, "Sister, you must find a way to control your ability now, otherwise, you will be the biggest destroyer here. If you can control your ability, you will be the only one in our place, a powerful guardian, so you must now find a way to be a guardian, not a destroyer." Yu Wenli also said, "Don't worry, this matter will come slowly. You can concentrate on feeling the energy in your body and try to control it. I believe my sister can control this energy, and you must too be confident in yourself." Fang Fair was about to cry, and said, "But I understand everything you said, but I can't do it at all. Because you said that you will concentrate on controlling the energy in your body, but I don't feel it at all. I don't know what energy exists in my body. I can't even feel the existence of this energy, so how can I control it?" Xiao Fan was also stunned. That's right, what Fang Fair said is absolutely right. If she doesn't even feel that there is a kind of energy in her body, you still insist on letting her control this kind of energy. Isn't this obviously a difficult thing? Fang Fair finally couldn't help crying and said, "My good brother, do you think that your little ball has mutated me? I don't know if I'm still a person or a woman. Fang Lin hurriedly comforted, Mom, don't worry. I don't think you have mutated. I will check you now to see if you are still alone. I think you must still be a woman, Fang Fair cried. Then you should check your mother as soon as possible. Mom is really scared now. If the mother's body really changes, will the little girl still recognize her mother? You will not sever all ties with your mother, and never again acknowledge the mother-daughter relationship between us. Fang Lin glanced at the others and said, Mr. Xiao, why don't you go out for a while, so I can check my mother's health? Xiao Fan came to his senses, nodded and was about to go out, but Fang Fair said, Oh, it's at this point now, don't let my brother go out, let him check with me, so that I can feel more at ease. Xiao Fan said awkwardly, Sister, this is not very good, is it? Suddenly Xiao Fan saw Fang Min's almost murderous eyes, and hurriedly said, Sister, I'm not really professional in physical examination. It's the same with me or without me. It's better to go out and avoid it. Xiao Fan hurried out. And Fang Min followed suit. Fang Lin, Yu Wenli and Mu Hong stayed to help Fang Fair check her body. Fang Min and Xiao Fan had just walked out of the lab. Fang Min grabbed Xiao Fan by the shoulder and said angrily, Xiao Fan, I think you are trying to annoy me on purpose, right? Now my mother has also awakened her supernatural powers, and it was in this unexpected way. My sister's awakening ability is also in this unexpected way before. Why can't it be me every time? It's either my mother or my sister? You said you still have 2 small balls, give me one quickly. Xiao Fan smiled wryly and said, Fang Min, I really don't know why there is such a blunder. It seems that I deliberately targeted you, but I really didn't mean to target you. Now 2 small balls, it's not in my hands either. Yu Wenli holds one, and Mu Hong also has one. If you want it, just ask them for it. Of course, you can awaken your abilities because of this, and I will congratulate you. Fang Min snorted, Xiao Fan, if I can awaken my abilities this time, nothing will happen to us. If I can't awaken my abilities, believe it or not, I will die in front of you. You are really bad. I think you were specially sent by the heavens to punish me, and every time you use this method to hit me, it makes me feel like my whole family is just a piece of trash. Do you know that this will make me very, very painful? After Fang Min vented, he returned to the laboratory again. Xiao Fan was completely fooled by Fang Minimum. Can you blame yourself for this matter? I really didn't mean it, okay? This woman Fang Min seems to be really stimulated at the moment. I hope this woman can successfully awaken her powers, otherwise, she will definitely go crazy. Xiao Fan didn't want this woman to suddenly change her target. Originally, she was torturing her own sister. If he suddenly changed the target of torment to himself, Xiao Fan would have the illusion of wanting to collapse when he thought about the result. God, you just open your eyes and take a look. Since you have made 2 mistakes, you should make another mistake so that Fang Min, a woman who is almost neurotic, can awaken her abilities smoothly. At this time, Yu Wenli pushed open the door of the laboratory and came out. Xiao Fan hurriedly asked, How is it? Did you find anything special? Yu Wenli shook her head and replied, There is no special discovery. She looks like an ordinary woman. And I have to say that her body is so perfect that it is almost impossible to tell that she is the mother of 2 daughters. And her 2 daughters are so big. God really loves her too much, Xiao Fan said speechlessly. Yu Wenli, you are also very good. Did you come out of the laboratory just because you couldn't bear the jealousy? Chapter 104 Fang Min is about to collapse. Xiao Fan said speechlessly, I said it's not good for you to be jealous of anyone. Why are you jealous of her? She is the mother of 2 daughters. The key is that, as you said, her 2 daughters are so big. I always feel that the object of your jealousy seems to have found the wrong target. For example, if you are jealous of her 2 daughters, it makes sense. Yu Wenli snorted and said, Why does God love her so much? She herself is so old. The key is that her 2 daughters are so old, but she looks more perfect than her 2 daughters. Her skin is like she is as white as jade, and she has a perfect figure. If it is really her daughter, I won't be jealous. Xiao Fan shook his head slightly, and sighed. There is a saying that is very true. Don't guess what a woman thinks about a man. You can't figure it out even if you guess it. Yu Wenli suddenly smiled and said, Why do you feel headaches? You men have the advantages of being strong, but strong men also have their own troubles. You think you only enjoy Yin around you, and Yin has more. It will turn into noise. Xiao Fan, please do it yourself, Xiao Fan said angrily. Yu Wenli, did you embarrass me? Don't forget, You are my maid, and I am your master. Have you forgotten what a maid should look like? Yu Wenli pursed her mouth and said, Yo, my master, you are so majestic. I am really afraid of death. When you are so angry, my heart almost stops beating. How should people apologize to you, or else they will kowtow to you in front of everyone? Let everyone know what a good master you are and what a humble maid I am. Okay, Xiao Fan laughed and said, I was just joking with you, you don't have to take it so seriously. Besides, this is the condition we agreed at the beginning, you can't take your word for it. Yu Wenli snorted and said, I don't care what I say is sincere. Let everyone see what a majestic master you are, and how awesome I am in front of you. Humble, what's wrong with this? Why do you feel like you are very unwilling? Xiao Fan said helplessly. Okay, you win. I won't mention the matter about the master and maid, it's okay. Xiao Fan was really scared by Yu Wenli at this moment. If Fang Lin and Fang Min knew that he still had this side, Xiao Fan really didn't have such a thick skin to face them like before. Sometimes face is not very important, but it cannot be missing. If it is really missing, it is not acceptable, just like a person without clothes. Yu Wenli sneered and said, Xiao Fan, I just realized now that you are actually a coward, dare to act or not. Where did you go when you dealt with me back then? I will ask you for the last time, do you still want me to fight you, to be your maid? Would you still like to be my master? Xiao Fan hurriedly shook his head and replied, don't mention this matter anymore. We will be close friends and close friends from now on. Don't talk about such things as master and maid. It hurts feelings. Yu Wenli snorted, you said it yourself, it's you who broke your original promise, not me. Xiao Fan nodded helplessly and replied, it's true that I broke my original promise, so it's okay. Yu Wenli sneered and said, oh, I suddenly have a feeling of turning over and making decisions. I advise some people not to regret it. They say they are willing, but I don't know how regretful they are in their hearts. But don't care if others will, I won't regret it, as long as my aunt and I feel happy. Xiao Fan smiled wryly and said, I said that even if you stand up and make the decision, you don't have to be so rampant. The aunts and grandmas are all out. Don't you think this is a bit too much? The two of us always get along alone, and then it depends on how I deal with it. Yu Wenli smiled and said, how do you want to deal with me? At worst, I will sleep with you, and I don't care anymore. Xiao Fan was really helpless with this woman. At this moment Fang Min came out again and said, Sister Wenli, can you lend me that little ball in your hand? Yu Wenli asked, don't you already have one in your hand? Did Mu Hong give it to you? Why do you want so many? Fang Min was frustrated, but there is no reaction at all when I hold this thing in my hand. Why can my mother awaken supernatural powers, and why can my sister awaken supernatural powers? Have you reacted? Is God playing tricks on me on purpose? So I will find two people to try together, maybe there will be a reaction. Yu Wenli smiled and said, so that's the reason, so let me try it for you. Yu Wenli also gave the small ball in her hand to Fang Min. Fang Min held the two small balls in his hand and began to toss non-stop. No matter how much he tossed, there was no reaction at all. Swallow two small balls into your stomach at the same time. Xiao Fan rushed over in a hurry, snatched the two small balls, and said fiercely, Fang Min, I said, are you crazy? You can do whatever you want, but you can't do it, it's too much. Why do you want to swallow these two things? If this thing explodes in your body, will you still be alive? Fang Min said, maybe my body is a little worse than my mother and sister, so I have to use an unusual method. Why do you want to take everything away from me? Let me try it, in case it works. Even if I beg you, let me try it. Yu Wenli said a little speechlessly, Fang Min, I feel that you are a little crazy. As a sister, I advise you that it doesn't matter if you struggle a little, but there must be a limit to everything. If it exceeds a certain limit, then it's not a toss, it's a death. So Xiao Fan stopped you for your own good. You have to learn to understand his good intentions. You can't just wake up your mother's ability over there, and you can't let someone explode and die. We can't bear such a combination of joy and sorrow. Fang Min cried, but what should I do? My mother has also awakened her abilities, and my younger sister has already awakened her abilities. Now it seems that I am the only one left in our family. I am a waste. I don't want to live such a life. I also want to live a wonderful life like you. Why can't God give me such a chance? Fang Min cried and threw himself into Xiao Fan's arms, hammering Xiao Fan's chest with his own fist. Chapter 105, Mu Hong and number 039, S Talent. Yu Wenli persuaded, Fang Min, sometimes you have to listen to my sister's persuasion. Everyone has different opportunities. You don't have the ability to awaken now. It doesn't mean that you don't have your own opportunities. It just means that the current opportunity has not yet arrived. When your opportunity arrives, you will naturally awaken the ability. At this time, Mu Hong also came out of the laboratory, looked at the scene in front of her and asked inexplicably, Xiao Fan, did you bully her? Xiao Fan said awkwardly, look carefully, did I bully her, or did she bully me? She has no way to awaken her abilities, and I really don't want to do that. After hearing what Xiao Fan said, Mu Hong understood what was going on. She comforted her with a smile. Fang Min, actually, I think your delay in awakening your abilities has something to do with your mentality. Shouldn't you learn some lessons from your mother? Fang Min pushed Xiao Fan away and asked, what do you mean by that? What lessons should I learn from? Mu Hong smiled and said, think about it carefully, whether it's your mother or your sister, are they very relaxed? They didn't deliberately pursue the awakening of their own abilities at all? Especially not like you deliberately pursuing it, but awakening the supernatural ability. Can't you experience something from it? Fang Min thought for a while and said, you mean that whether one can awaken a supernatural ability has a lot to do with a person's mentality? The more anxious I am, the less able I can awaken my supernatural ability. My mother and sister are very relaxed. I was so anxious, but I awakened my abilities. The biggest difference between me and them is the mentality. Mu Hong smiled and said, my sister thinks what you said is very reasonable. This is the biggest difference between you and your mother and sister. You said that the 3 members of your family all have the same genes. How could it be possible that your mother and your sister can awaken supernatural powers, but you don't? There is a way to awaken a supernatural ability, and if you think about it with your brain, you will know that this is impossible. So you must maintain a relaxed attitude, and opportunities will come naturally. Fang Min thought for a while and couldn't help but burst into tears and said with a smile, Sister Hong, I really didn't expect you to wake up the dreamer with your words. I was really too stubborn before. From now on, I have to adjust my mentality. Let my mentality become the same as my mother and sister. Yes, I really should do it. As he spoke, Fang Min took a deep breath, and his mentality, which was about to collapse before, returned to calm. Xiao Fan glanced at Mu Hong, and couldn't help thinking secretly, I didn't expect Huang Ji to be so good at doing ideological work. It seems that she must be allowed to take on more work in this underground fortress, otherwise it will be a huge waste of talents. At this time, Fang Fei and Fang Lin also came out of the laboratory. Fang Fei seemed cautious with every step he took. Xiao Fan hurriedly asked, Sister, do you still have no experience in controlling the energy in your body? Fang Fei replied, I had some experience at that time. As long as I don't think that I am a supernatural person, or want to prove that I have huge energy, my supernatural power will not be displayed. Thanks to Mu Hong, what she said just now gave me a lot of inspiration. Otherwise I really dare not come out. Xiao Fan looked at Mu Hong again and said, Sister Hong, I really didn't see that you did 2 such important things in such a short period of time. I must find a chance to reward you later. Only Mu Hong knew what Xiao Fan meant by the reward. Pretending to be casual, she glanced at Xiao Fan, and couldn't help but look forward to it. Fang Lin said, actually, my mother's ability to awaken this time has also given me more inspiration. I think I will have more ideas for my research direction in the future, and it will also be of greater help to my future research. Now, I need at least one such ball as my research object. Fang Min hurriedly said, Fang Lin, the 2 balls belong to me, do you want to take them from me? Even if you want to study, don't study my balls. You treat your mother as yours. Isn't the research object a better choice? Just give up your mind and don't worry about my little ball. Mu Hong said, Fang Min, just now you said that you need to adjust your mentality, but now you have no plan to adjust your mentality at all. In fact, you are still very nervous in your heart. At least you said that your mentality adjustment has not achieved anything effect, otherwise you wouldn't be so nervous about the ball in your hand, wouldn't you? Fang Min thought for a while and said, Sister Hong, I think what you said is very reasonable. I really should further review my mentality. I think it is enough for me to have one of these small balls, and I will give the other one to my sister, as a research object. Sister Hong really appreciates you always reminding me to pay attention to my mentality. When I really awaken the power one day, I will definitely thank you very much. You are not like someone who knows how to scold me. As Fang Min said, he handed a small ball to his sister, and he didn't forget to glance at Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan couldn't help a wry smile. He was shocked while lying down. Fang Lin smiled and said, "Sister, don't worry, I will never let you down." Fang Lin is also a very smart girl. She didn't forget to flatter her sister, and took advantage of the opportunity to make her sister more relaxed. At this moment, Su Xia hurried over with a worried expression on her face. Mu Hong hurriedly asked, "Sister Xia, why are you in such a hurry? What happened?" Su Xia gasped and said, "Mu Ying and I were cleaning the room just now, when suddenly Mu Ying passed out. She couldn't wake up no matter how much she screamed, and there was no response from pinching her, so hurry up and see Mu Ying." As soon as Mu Hong heard that her sister had an accident, she didn't care about anything and hurried to see her. Xiao Fan and Yu Wenli hurriedly followed behind. Xiao Fan was also very anxious. Since he came to the underground fortress, he actually cared less about many people, such as Zhang Weilin, Hu Miao, Yankin and Qiao Yun. Xiao Fan was also very worried that they would have problems with their bodies if they stayed in the fortress all the time. When Mu Ying thought of other women, Xiao Fan became even more anxious. Soon when they came to the room where Mu Ying fainted, Xiao Fan and the others were all stunned. They couldn't believe what they saw with their eyes. How could this happen? Chapter 106 Fang Min and number 039, ecstatic gaff. The whole person looks very terrifying, as if possessed by a mysterious force. Mu Hong hurriedly went to hug her sister, but there was no way to hug her, because Mu Ying was shaking too much, and Mu Hong didn't dare to use her supernatural ability, for fear of hurting her sister. Mu Hong looked at Xiao Fan and asked, "Xiao Fan, what happened to Mu Ying? Can you save her?" Although Mu Ying herself is a powerful awakener, she is used to relying on Xiao Fan, so Xiao Fan is the first thing she thinks of when she encounters something. Xiao Fan doesn't have any idea about this. The key is that he is not a doctor. Just when Xiao Fan was thinking about how to comfort Mu Hong to save Mu Ying, a strange scene happened. Fang Min, who came along with him, was holding the halo ball tightly in his hand. Pulled by a mysterious force, it rushed out of Fang Min's hand and directly into Mu Ying's body. Then I saw that Mu Ying's violently shaking body instantly regained her composure, and her iron blue skin also turned into normal white jade color. What was even more incredible was that the moment Mu Ying opened her eyes, there was a flash of lightning in her eyes, but she quickly regained her composure and disappeared. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief when they saw this scene, and Xiao Fan couldn't help but swear, "Damn it, can you awaken the ability?" But Fang Min was completely shattered. God must have seen that her mood had just gotten better, so he intentionally made such a cruel joke with her again. Mu Ying looked at the crowd and said, "What exactly happened? I feel that there is a particularly terrifying power in my body. Once this power is released, it may destroy everything." Mu Hong smiled and said, "Sister, I don't know what happened to you suddenly. Maybe your body felt a ball. Anyway, you snatched the ball and then awakened the ability." Hearing Mu Hong's words, Xiao Fan immediately came to his senses. He couldn't just be happy. There was another person who might collapse again. Xiao Fan hurriedly looked at Fang Min. Fang Min's face was pale and he didn't move, and there were big tears in his eyes. Tears. Xiao Fan hurriedly looked at Fang Lin and said, "Hurry up and give me that little ball." Fang Lin hurriedly handed the small ball to Xiao Fan, and Xiao Fan hurriedly stuffed it into Fang Min's hand, and said while stuffing it, "Fang Min, I think this matter, you must not think about it, this is completely a surprise." What Mu Hong said is very correct. As long as you adjust your mentality, you must be the next one to awaken the power. Fang Min cried loudly, "Xiao Fan, I don't think you need to comfort me anymore. I don't think it is possible for me to awaken my supernatural ability in my whole life. I also think that God is trying to make me unhappy, so wants another way to torture me. I don't want this thing anymore. I don't think it makes any sense to put it in my hands. Maybe someone will snatch it away next time, and I have to endure the pain again." Torture, Xiao Fan said with a smile. "Actually, I still have a very good thing in my hand. I will give it to you this time. Maybe it will be another chance for you." As Xiao Fan said, he took out the last silver flake like a fish scale. He was forced to do so and had no other choice. He felt that Fang Min's current state was very wrong. If he continued like this, maybe Fang Min might commit suicide. Don't think it's a joke. It's really possible for Fang Min's personality to happen. Fang Min looked at the silver sheet in Xiao Fan's hand and said, "Xiao Fan, I know, you see that I am in great pain and want to comfort me, but you don't have to fool me with just one thing." "What is it? Did you just pick it up from the side of the road? Did you coax me like a child?" Xiao Fan seriously replied, "This is also my trophy. If you don't believe me, look at my ear. Is there one next to my ear? There are only two of them, and they are bigger than this ball. Be precious. If it wasn't for you, I would never be willing to take it out. When Fang Min heard it, he really became energized, and looked at Xiao Fan's right ear, and there really was an identical slice. Fang Min immediately felt energized. He took the sheet and stuck it to his right ear. The moment she just posted it, the silver flake turned into a silver light beam and entered Fang Min's ear, and then disappeared immediately. Xiao Fan was completely stunned. What the hell is this thing? Isn't this a so-called language incubator? But why didn't he respond after wearing it for a long time? But Fang Min responded immediately after putting it on. Fang Min was stunned, but soon Fang Min's eyes revealed an expression of ecstasy. Fang Lin hurriedly asked, "What's the matter with my sister? You feel something different about yourself now. Have you also awakened your abilities?" Fang Fei also asked with concern, "Daughter, please tell me how you are now. Don't let mom worry, mom has her heart in her throat now. Tell mom how are you now." Fang Min suddenly hugged Xiao Fan tightly, then blocked Xiao Fan's mouth severely, and then blocked Xiao Fan with his own mouth for 3 full minutes before letting go. Yu Wenli's beautiful big eyes shone with extremely dangerous light, and she had the urge to go berserk at any time. In fact, Mu Hong's complexion was not much better. It looked very weird and embarrassing. Mu Ying couldn't help but snorted, and following her snort, an electric glow suddenly appeared in the room, and it made a crackling sound. Fang Min was completely woken up from his agitated state at once, and he hurriedly separated from Xiao Fan. In fact, Xiao Fan didn't figure out what the 3 small balls and the 2 slices were. They are actually energy bodies that can awaken different levels of abilities. The reason why Xiao Fan didn't feel the existence of the 2 slices was energy. That's because the energy they store is more restrained, that is to say, their level is higher, and it's just not felt by Xiao Fan. Of course, Fang Fei, Mu Ying, and Fang Min's awakening powers seem very simple and dramatic, but it is not the case at all. This is entirely the result of Xiao Fan's spoils, a very normal phenomenon. Chapter 107 I Want to Be an Ant. Seeing Fang Min's ecstasy, they couldn't help but breathe a long sigh of relief. If anyone can understand Fang Min better, it must be Fang Lin's sister and Fang Fei's mother. If Fang Min really can't awaken his abilities this time, no, it can be said with certainty that Fang Min's mentality will definitely have problems. Even if he doesn't go crazy, he may go to extremes. Now that Fang Min has successfully awakened his abilities, it can be said that everyone is happy. Fang Fei hurriedly asked, "Eldest daughter, don't just be happy. Tell mom what kind of power you have awakened, and let mom be happy for you." When Fang Fei said this, Xiao Fan, including Xiao Fan, looked at Fang Min, who was still in ecstasy. Fang Min didn't respond immediately. It was obvious that she was still in ecstasy. Could it be because of her mother? One word to return to calm. Xiao Fan couldn't help but jokingly said, "Fang Min, I said it's just as good as it gets. There's no need to be so overjoyed and sad. We all feel a little bit unbearable. Your mentality needs to be adjusted carefully. You can't meet happy people. When things go crazily, you can't control your joy, and when you encounter something that doesn't go your way, you start digging into the horns. This kind of mentality is bad." Fang Min turned white and Xiao Fan glanced at him and said, "I want to be happy. It's useless for you to be jealous of me. I'm very happy now. To tell you the truth, I will be very happy every day in the next few days." Guess what kind of ability I have awakened is absolutely impossible for you to guess. Fang Lin asked, "Is it a bragging ability?" Fang Min glared at his sister viciously and threatened, "Fang Lin, if you don't want to be beaten up, you'd better keep your mouth shut. You think it's still the same as before. You awakened the power and my sister is still an ordinary girl. Human? Elder sister is also a powerful power awakener now, so put away all the disrespect you had for elder sister before. If you can't figure out your position, then don't blame elder sister for not teaching and punishing her." Yu Wenli couldn't understand her for a long time, and said sarcastically, "Yo, what a majesty. Talking to my own sister, even saying that she was punished without teaching. Fang Min, I, an outsider, can't see her. Go on. After all, Professor Fang is your own sister. Isn't it very inappropriate for you to speak like this?" Fang Min looked at Yu Wenli and snorted, "Yu Wenli, don't be so mean in front of me. You rolled your eyes and glared at me just now. Don't think I didn't see it. It's just my sister. I'm in a better mood now, and I won't be with you. It's just general knowledge. Besides, it's none of your business if I talk to my sister." The more Xiao Fan listened to it, the more he felt something was wrong. Fang Min was a bit of a villain, and he was about to go to the sky. Xiao Fan said, Fang Min, please pay attention to me. We can only unite and not create divisions. I know you have just awakened the power, so I can't help the ecstasy in my heart. This time I just warn you not to do punishment, otherwise you have to be more careful next time, Fang Min said nonchalantly. Xiao Fan, there is actually something I want to tell you. I think we should re-elect the boss of this underground fortress now. I think my current combat power is definitely above yours. You are now, shouldn't you listen to me? Xiao Fan was stunned. This girl is not floating. She is already flying, Fang Fei hurriedly said. Eldest daughter, what you say is a bit too much. Mom, I can't stand it anymore. I apologize to your uncle quickly. How can you talk to your uncle like that? It's too rude to apologize quickly. You have awakened abilities now. If it wasn't for the booty brought back by your uncle, how could you have awakened abilities? Fang Min couldn't help but sneered and said, I'm ashamed to mention the word uncle in front of me. I was forced to call him uncle before, but now I think the name should be reversed. Xiao Fan couldn't help being amused, and said with a smile, Fang Min, don't tell me you're trying to turn yourself into a man just to make me call you uncle. Fang Min snorted, I think you should call me aunt from now on. In order to make up for your mistake of forcing me to call you uncle, I think it's better to add the word grandma, so I'm your aunt now. Mu Hong couldn't help but burst out laughing. Fang Min went to another extreme after awakening the power, completely turned into tease. Xiao Fan sneered and said, Fang Min, I know you are full of confidence now. If you want to test how strong your fighting power is, then I will give you this opportunity now, and I accept your challenge. But I will say ugly words if your challenge fails. The consequences will be extremely serious, so I will ask you one last time, do you really decide to challenge me now? Fang Min nodded resolutely and said, if I don't even have the courage to challenge you at this time, then what's the use of awakening such a powerful ability? Of course I am very generous. If I challenge you after dismounting, I will appoint you as my first secretary. Yu Wenli took the opportunity to add fuel to the joke and laughed loudly. Xiao Fan, you must be careful. If you are accidentally picked off the horse, your status will be completely changed, from the hero to Xiaomi. Old lady, just thinking about it makes me feel coke. Xiao Fan suddenly felt a sense of helplessness in his heart. It was just these women who were more worry-free than the other, one who was holding back her energy to make trouble, and the other holding back her energy to watch the excitement and be afraid of getting into trouble. Xiao Fan rolled her eyes at Yu Wenli and said, you also wait for me. I will deal with Fang Min when I am obedient, and I will deal with you later. It will be useless for you to beg for mercy at that time. I won't believe it. I can't cure you. Yu Wenli snorted proudly and said, if you come to clean up, I will clean me up. Who is afraid of whom? Isn't that what men do to women? I don't care at all. If you have the ability, you can let her go. If you don't show off, do you really think my old lady is a sick cat? Xiao Fan smiled helplessly and said, very good, then come one by one. I want to see how many of you are real tigers and how many of you are sick cats. But don't blame me for not warning you in advance. I was indeed too kind to you before, which caused you to float up when you encountered a little spring breeze. This time I will let you see my methods. This is the real punishment for not teaching. Chapter 108, Excellent Entertainment. Xiao Fan said speechlessly, I said you are so serious? Could it be that I have no prestige in your eyes, and my warning has completely become a joke in your ears? Fang Min smiled and said, Xiao Fan, let me tell you, do you know how to use words? What does it mean to be punished without teaching? Do you understand? Yu Wenli also laughed and said, you are illiterate. These two girls are going farther and farther on the road to death. No one can stop them. Xiao Fan looked at Mu Hong and said, Sister Hong, come and be a witness, and see how I deal with these two girls ruthlessly. Mu Hong nodded with a smile and said, I think you should go to the fort to compete. Who do you compete to be the boss in the base? After your results come out, the base will no longer exist, and what you bosses do is nothing. Mean it? Xiao Fan nodded and replied, that's very reasonable, then let's go outside the base. Which of you two stinky women will come first? Xiao Fan has always believed that he should maintain a certain demeanor in front of women, but today he lost his demeanor when facing the challenge of these two girls. Words like stinky woman have been uttered. After hearing this, Yu Wenli and Fang Min didn't care at all, especially Yu Wenli also joked, whether we are stinky women or not, you have to try it to find out. You haven't tried it now, how can you be so disrespectful? I don't accept responsible conclusions. Fang Min also nodded and said, I stink or not, didn't you know just now? Xiao Fan now deeply understands a truth, that is, don't quarrel with women, you will lose no matter what, and when you decide to quarrel with a woman, you are already at a disadvantage, so the very smart Xiao Fan shut up in time, turned around and walked out of the fort very coolly. Mu Hong and Mu Ying hurriedly followed, and Fang Lin and Fang Fei also hurriedly followed. For fear of missing this once-in-a-century event, Su Xia hesitated for a moment, and then made a difficult decision. She decided to notify all her sisters and watch the fun together. Coming outside the underground base, Xiao Fan looked at Yu Wenli and Fang Min and asked, which of you two will come first? Has it been decided? If the two of you suddenly regret it now, I can still regret it for you. Opportunity. Of course, if you are timid now, I can give you a chance to let the two of you do it together. Yu Wenli looked at Fang Min and said, Hey, Fang Min, I think you should go first. Anyway, I don't want to be the boss. The relationship between me and him is just a personal grudge, there is no status dispute. Fang Min snorted, Yu Wenli, what are you planning in your heart? Don't think I don't know. Are you thinking about waiting for me to consume Xiao Fan's combat power, and then you go up to pick up cheap? But I tell you, don't think about it. Taking advantage of me, I will never give you such a chance. I am very sorry to tell you. As long as I make a move, you will have no chance to make another move. Yu Wenli snorted, who knows how to brag? Don't say it's beautiful now. When you do it later, you will be beaten to the ground with one move. That would be too shameful. Yes, even if you are beaten to the ground, you can't do it, crying. If you cry, I will record your crying and show it to everyone. Fang Min sneered and said, Yu Wenli, I think you are talking about yourself. You think your awakened ability is extremely powerful. But it's because you didn't see how powerful my awakened ability is, so I will let you know immediately. You understand what fireflies compete with the sun? Don't feel too inferior then. Xiao Fan clasped his hands in front of his chest, happily watching the two girls bickering. To be honest, he hadn't entertained for a long time. Ever since he was reborn and returned to the end of the world, he was constantly busy. How could he have time to entertain? But now Xiao Fan suddenly discovered that entertainment can be carried out anytime and anywhere. For example, the two girls in front of him are bickering. Yu Wenli and Fang Min saw Xiao Fan's expression at the same time. Knowing that this guy was watching the fun with malicious intentions, Fang Min snorted, Xiao Fan, do you think it looks very good looking? Wait a minute, I hope you are still so good mood. Now I officially challenge you, you can rest assured that I am a very good person. Even if you lose in my hands, it doesn't matter, I will still give you the second in command position. This stinky bitch Yu Wenli is still here under your control, Yu Wenli said angrily. Fang Min, you are a stinky bitch. These two women are very interesting. Just now Xiao Fan scolded them as stinky women. They both smiled and didn't care at all, but now Fang Min called Yu Wenli a stinky bitch. Yu Wenli quit immediately up. Xiao Fan said with a smile, I said you two keep working hard. I hope the quarrel will be more lively. In the future, our underground fortress will become more and more boring. When everyone feels bored, you can stage a couple a one-on-one show. At least I personally think it is an excellent entertainment. Fang Min yelled at Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan, stop talking nonsense. Now we can do it. In fact, Fang Min still has a certain certainty of victory. She has awakened a supernatural ability, which is really very powerful. She has awakened a powerful flying ability. It's not that he really wants to be the boss, but he just wants to take this opportunity to play tricks on Xiao Fan. She didn't reveal her powers, but she wanted to catch Xiao Fan by surprise, and then put on a show to show off her powerful flying powers. Of course, these were all because she was too excited after awakening the powers up. Even if she really defeated Xiao Fan in this challenge, at most she was just addicted to her mouth, and she definitely didn't really take away the position of the boss. Fang Min was a little bit floating because of her awakening ability, but she really didn't float to that extent, so from this point of view, Mu Hong's observation and judgment are still very accurate. Fang Min has indeed gone to another extreme, becoming more and more funny. Of course, Fang Min will never tell her true thoughts now, and she still has to hold back her energy and wait until she defeats Xiao Fan to get her mouth full. But whether you can live up to your mouth craving, you can only know after the competition. Of course Xiao Fan will not really get angry with these two women. He is also fighting with the two women in front of him with a mischievous mentality. It's impossible for Fang Min to be really angry just because of Fang Min's 3-minute-long slobber. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "I'm really scared when you say that, so I'll make a move first." As soon as Xiao Fan finished speaking, she already had a bone spear in her hand. Xiao Fan's speed was indeed too fast. Wang Min really hadn't had time to react at all. The bone spear had already reached her throat. Wang Min has indeed awakened a powerful ability, but it doesn't mean that you have awakened a powerful ability. Your combat effectiveness must be very strong. It's like holding the most advanced weapon in your hand, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can win the battle. Xiao Fan has been fighting in the last days for 50 years. What a wealth of combat experience, keen combat awareness and powerful combat skills are not comparable to Wang Min, a melon egg. Wang Min herself thought she was awesome. Of course it was just that she thought she was awesome. She really wants to reach the level of awesomeness, and she needs a lot of battles. Wang Min looked at the bone spear in front of him and said angrily, "Xiao Fan, don't you think it's too despicable for you to attack me so suddenly? We haven't finished our conversation yet, and you suddenly attack me. Do you still have a point, demeanor? I'll look down on you so much? This time it doesn't count, let's start over." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Wang Min, since you want to start over, I will definitely give you this chance. But through the spear I stabbed just now, you have to learn a lot from it. If you face the threat of the interstellar iron beetle tomorrow at that time, you will not have any chance to repent. Do you still have to tell them that you have no grace to launch a sudden attack, and I look down on you?" Xiao Fan's words caused laughter all around, and Wang Min suddenly flew backwards, flying a distance of more than 20 meters, and then flew higher and higher. Of course, if Xiao Fan really wanted to make a move at that time, even though Wang Min possessed flying abilities, he would have absolutely no chance of escaping. Wang Min, who was flying in midair, said triumphantly, "Xiao Fan, don't you have to preach to my aunt? Now you know how powerful I am, my aunt. I have the ability to fly. Now I am completely in an advantage for you. I can hit you as much as I want in the air. What can you do to me?" Although Wang Min's previous performance was very embarrassing, when she showed her flying ability, it still caused a lot of exclamations, and many people envied her voice. Now almost all the people in the underground fortress came out to watch the fun. They watched Wang Min flying around in the air like a fairy. If they didn't have any envy, it was absolutely impossible. It is true that many people were shocked by Xiao Fan's fierce killing move before, but it was only a shock, because Xiao Fan has long represented an omnipotent word in their hearts, so any different reactions to Xiao Fan's performance, in their hearts it's all expected, but Wang Min is completely different. It can be said that just now Wang Min was an ordinary person like many of them, but now he has suddenly awakened the ability, and such a magical flying ability. Can they not be envious? Can you not be more shocked? Some of their comments even reached Wang Min's ears, making Wang Min even more complacent. It's so amazing that there's even a flying ability, and seeing Wang Min flying in the air, it reminds me of a word, that is, fairy descends. If one day I also have such a flying ability, it should be what a wonderful thing. I really envy her. I really hope that I can suddenly awaken my powers like her. If I can fly in the air like Wang Min, I will definitely thank the sky and thank Mr. Xiao. I just don't know if I can have such luck. It's really amazing. I'm so envious, so envious. I can't help being a little jealous. I think you can forget it. You don't look at what you look like. Do you think you can fly so beautifully even if you awaken the power? If you fly to the sky, it will only remind me of one sentence. I can't bear to say this, because it will seriously hit you. What do you mean? Say it. Even a pig can fly by standing on the wind. This sentence caused a roar of laughter. Of course, the person who was called a pig would not be really angry, knowing that his partner was just joking. Wang Min couldn't help laughing in the air, which made her even more proud. Wang Min snorted, "Xiao Fan, now you know how powerful I am. I see how you can defeat me. Just now you launched a sneak attack while I was not being caught. Now I see what you can do. I suggest you simply admit defeat, so that you won't feel too ashamed." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Wang Min, I think it's better for you to position yourself properly. Don't be too complacent. You are really sure now that you are ready, and you won't wait until I defeat you, and you will be big again. How unfair is it to yell? In that case, You will really be sorry for your flying ability. Wang Min sneered and said, Xiao Fan, don't fight with me. Now I can tell you clearly that I am fully prepared, and if you have any skills, come to me. Do you think you still have any chance? You and I are chattering, just want to find my flaws. I will not give you such a chance. Suddenly Wang Min felt a huge black shadow fly by in front of her eyes, and then she felt that she had completely lost control of her body. Wang Min couldn't help but let out a hysterical scream, and all the people below Wang Min couldn't help opening their mouths. Some even raised their guns and pointed them at the huge black shadow in the sky. That's right, it was an interstellar iron beetle. Wang Min has now become his captive. She was too complacent before, so Wang Min couldn't explain how she was captured by the interstellar iron beetle in front of her. She now feels that her hair is completely blank. After she awakened her power, and awakened such a magical power, shouldn't it be awesome? Since then, she has embarked on the road of cheating, but why didn't she go on the road? On the contrary, the road of opening and hanging has received so many blows one after another. Tan Fifi hurriedly shouted, everyone stop, no one is allowed to shoot. Quickly put down all the guns in your hands. Hurry up, put down all the guns in your hands, hurry up. Come down. Although Tan Fifi shouted hoarsely, no one put down the gun in their hands. Chapter 110 Mu Ying and number 039, doubts. Everyone looked at Xiao Fan's original position, and Xiao Fan was no longer there. The expressions on these people's faces can no longer be described in terms of shock. This time it's not that they don't want to put down their guns. If they really forgot to put down their guns. Xiao Fan grabbed Wang Min with a sneer and said, you damn girl, you thought you were great because you could fly, now you know who is the real boss? Whether you can fly or not, you will always be one in front of me, younger brother. Wang Min also knew that she was caught by Xiao Fan, and she shouted very unwillingly, I am not a younger brother, I am a woman. Xiao Fan suddenly took Wang Min flying higher and higher, farther and farther away, and completely disappeared from everyone's sight. Yu Wenli sighed softly and said, a certain person seems to be really unlucky. He thought he was showing his face, but now it has turned into a slap in the face. It's so sad. Mu Hong smiled and said, okay, Wenli. It's useless for you to say these things now. Wang Min can't hear anything anyway. I think you might as well save some effort and say it in front of her when she comes back. Yu Wenli said with a smile, I won't talk about it when Wang Min comes back. Xiao Fan, that scoundrel, wants to see Wang Min and I quarrel, but he actually treats our quarrel as entertainment. So when Wang Min comes back, I will definitely comfort Wang Min. Mu Hong shook her head, and Mu Ying came over and said, sister, why is there such a big gap between the two of them? This is not only a problem that Mu Ying can't figure out, many people can't figure out this problem. Aren't they all awakened with supernatural powers? Why is there such a big gap? Mu Ying is very concerned about this issue now, and she has just awakened a powerful ability. Although she didn't say anything, she is actually very proud of herself, but Wang Min's painful lesson now is also true for Mu Ying. A terrible blow, so Mu Ying came to ask her sister what happened? Why is there such a big gap between two powerful abilities awakened? Mu Hong seriously explained, sister, it's like two people can both walk and run, but you don't naively think that they both run at the same speed, do you? I don't know how many interstellar iron beetles are in your hands. And you have just awakened your abilities, and you haven't even mastered the ability to control your own abilities. You still want to challenge Xiao Fan, isn't that just playing to your own death? Mu Ying remained silent. She didn't want to challenge Xiao Fan, but she originally wanted to compete with her sister. Now she has completely given up on this plan. She has no intention of committing suicide yet. Mu Hong went on to say, actually Xiao Fan was just playing with her just now, otherwise Xiao Fan wouldn't have turned into an interstellar iron beetle at all. Wang Min has died hundreds of times. Mu Ying was very unconvinced and said, sister, I know Xiao Fan is very powerful. But you don't have to exaggerate it, right? If Xiao Fan doesn't turn into an interstellar iron beetle, he can even fight Wang Min. No, how could Wang Min die hundreds of times? I know the relationship between my sister and Xiao Fan, but you don't have to protect him like this, sister. I think it's love that blinds your eyes. Yu Wenli smiled and said, Mu Ying, you have just awakened your abilities. I can understand your unconvinced mood, but your sister's words are absolutely true. There is no exaggeration. Xiao Fan's strongest combat power, it's really not turning into that interstellar iron beetle, but throwing the bone spear in my hand. Mu Ying's eyes widened with an incredible expression. This is also completely understandable. She has never seen Xiao Fan in a real fighting state, so this expression is completely normal now. Mu Hong said, when you have the opportunity to see his real fighting state, you won't have such an expression now. I know you are not feeling dissatisfied for Fang Min, but feeling for yourself so unconvinced. But listen to my sister, no matter how proud you are in your heart now, you must have a heart of awe. Otherwise, you will definitely suffer in future battles. Because it is not your own ability, your strength determines that you must be the final winner. Mu Ying asked, is Xiao Fan really that good? Mu Hong pampered her sister's forehead and said, is he really so powerful? I think you should have a deep feeling for it. Do you know why you can awaken your power? It's not completely. Do you rely on the loot he brought back? If his combat power is not so strong, how could he destroy a base of the star iron beetle by himself, and bring back so many loot, and successfully awaken the ability for you? Yu Wenli smiled and said, actually, Mu Ying, you don't have to think too much about it. In fact, I used to be like you. When I first awakened my abilities, I felt that I was very great, but in fact, as you awaken the longer the ability time, the more enemies you have seen, not only will you become more mature, but you will also deeply feel that your strength needs to be continuously strengthened. This is a process of growth, so don't worry too much about it for a while, the gains and losses. Of course, it is best not to provoke Xiao Fan recklessly. Mu Ying was completely silent after listening. She really hadn't thought about this question before, but now she thought about it after her sister reminded her. Only then did she realize how terrifying Xiao Fan's fighting power is. In fact, at this moment, she has added a lot of respect and gratitude to Xiao Fan in her heart. In the past, Xiao Fan's image in her eyes was not particularly good. She always felt that this man was a wolf, and he was a particularly yellow wolf. Greedy. I always feel that there are not enough beauties around me. However, her opinion has changed a little at this time. Xiao Fan has indeed paid a lot for the people around her. For example, she is a particularly big beneficiary. Mu Ying suddenly felt very lucky again. Fortunately, she had such a conversation with her sister. If she hadn't had this conversation beforehand, she would definitely provoke her sister if she found a chance. Would her result be very strange? Miserable. I don't know what kind of torture Fang Min is enduring now. You can imagine it with your toes. Since Xiao Fan has taken Fang Min away, she will never let her go so easily. What a poor baby. Chapter 111 Miserable Consequences. Now that Xiao Fan has recovered his body, Fang Min is lying flat on his knees, and every time Xiao Fan raises his palm, Fang Min will let out a scream. Fang Min said angrily, Xiao Fan, are you a villain finished? Do you want to beat me to death? You really don't know how to be sympathetic to me. I am so kind to you. You are so cruel to me now. Do you really think that I won't be sad? Think about how I treat you, and how you treat me. Xiao Fan sneered, how did you treat me? Xiao Fan lightly rubbed Fang Min's round back, and temporarily stopped slapping. Fang Min cried, I was just joking with you before, just to try how powerful my abilities are. But I didn't expect you to be so narrow-minded and play with me for real. You beat me to death, I'm fine, as long as you are willing, beat me to death. Don't rub me, beat me to death. Xiao Fan smiled and said, you know how to beg for mercy now. When you were flying in the sky before, it was like a fairy looking down on me. Did you feel that you were so awesome and that I could really be your Xiaomi? Now you tell me, who's Xiaomi? Fang Min snorted, it's okay to know that you are amazing, it's okay if I am your Xiaomi. But no matter what, you are a manly man, why bother with a little girl like me? I think a man should always be magnanimous, we women should be forgiven for going too much sometimes. Xiao Fan suddenly slapped him hard again, and Fang Min screamed, Xiao Fan, you have gone too far this time. Say this well, why did you hit me again? Xiao Fan laughed and said, I said, do you really not understand, or are you pretending not to understand? It's not a big deal if you want to make a small temper, but you made such a big commotion, you even told me to be more magnanimous. I think you deserve a beating. Do you think I want to satisfy you? Fang Min cried, that's not my fault. I didn't intend to make such a big commotion. You should blame whoever called out everyone. I remember that it was Su Xia who dared to call out people. You don't dare to make trouble for her now, and you even take it out on me. I feel very unbalanced. Xiao Fan said helplessly, Su Xia is a woman who doesn't think it's a big deal to drive, but I'm too lazy to argue with her. Fang Min immediately came to his senses and asked, hey, why are you so lazy to talk to her? Tell me the truth. Are you very afraid of her? But this is also somewhat inexplicable. It seems that you have almost no contact with her. Why are you afraid of her? Xiao Fan said speechlessly. Fang Min, I really didn't see that you still have such a side. You still like to gossip so much, which eye of yours I can see that I am afraid of her? It's just that Su Xiao was a little bit to me before. Helpful, and it should be said that she is a good woman, although she was forced to do some wrong things before, but I can't blame her at all. What's more, she is Mi Hong's best friend, so I can't care about her like her, Fang Min said unfairly. So you are willing to argue with me? You just beat me to death, don't rub me. Xiao Fan smiled and said, now I'm telling you seriously, although you have awakened the flying ability, strictly speaking, your flying skill cannot be regarded as a combat skill, so if you want to gain strong combat power, you still have to use it to fight. There are many ways to go. I will give you a bone spear now. This bone spear can kill those interstellar iron beetles. I don't ask you to go into battle to kill the enemy, at least it can give you the ability to protect yourself. Fang Min asked in a low voice, are you really being so kind to me? You suddenly became so gentle and so kind to me, I can't get used to it, Xiao Fan joked. I said you are such a mean-spirited person, but you feel uncomfortable when I treat you well. Do you have to let me continue to beat you? Fang Min muttered in dissatisfaction. How can you talk to a beautiful woman like this? How can you say that a beautiful woman is cheap? It seems that you are completely correct. It's just that you suddenly became so gentle, I just feel a little uncomfortable for a while. How could it be cheap? Xiao Fan laughed and said, I was just joking with you. If you really want to quickly improve your combat power, you can go to some battles with me in the future. You can see how I fight and experience it seriously. I think you can cooperate with me. With your abilities, you will definitely be able to quickly improve your combat effectiveness. Fang Min asked excitedly, can you take me to fight now? I really can't wait. To be honest, I have never seen you fight seriously before. I think you must be majestic when you fight. Lin, I also want to be like you. Is it possible? Xiao Fan squeezed Fang Min's chubby body hard and said, I said you should change your temper. I really doubt how you would do business before with your temper. I have no patience to say that wind is fire. If you don't change your temper, you will suffer a lot sooner or later. Fang Min smiled bitterly. Actually, I was not like this before. I don't know why since I met you, I found that my whole personality has changed. Sometimes I calm down and think about it, and I feel that there are some things I don't know. I became so irritable and impatient, just to catch up with you quickly. I don't want to be left behind by you, so I became what I am now, but you laugh at others. Xiao Fan pulled Fang Min up and gagged her tightly. After an unknown amount of time, Fang Min felt that he could barely breathe, so he pushed Xiao Fan away with all his might. Fang Min gasped and said, you bastard is too hateful, you want to suffocate me. Xiao Fan suddenly laid down. Although he didn't drink at this time, he also experienced what it means to be drunk and lying on a beautiful woman's lap. He looked at the sky above his head lightly and said, it's just what you said just now, which suddenly made me feel very moved. I haven't been so moved for a long time. I can't remember how many times I killed. I have forgotten what tenderness is, and when I am with you, I suddenly feel like falling in love. So strange. Xiao Fan really didn't lie, even though he met Yang Kan, Mu Hong, etc. after his rebirth, but most of them were venting. Not that Xiao Fan didn't have feelings for them, but that Xiao Fan's heart was not so peaceful at that time. He has extraordinary feelings for Zhang Weilin, but when he saw Zhang Weilin for the second time, he thought more about nervousness and compensation. Chapter 112 Enemy Peeping. Xiao Fan nodded and replied, you see through me, I'm really tired. I really want to take a break, but I don't dare to close my eyes. I'm worried that if I do close my eyes, I will never have another chance. Open your eyes. In such an apocalypse, wanting to truly relax is the cruelest thing you can do to yourself. Fang Min asked in confusion, why do you say that? Xiao Fan explained, because danger is always there, just like we seem to be very carefree now. Maybe there is a pair of eyes staring at us from a distance, ready to deliver a fatal blow to us at any time. Fang Min nervously looked at the similarities, and saw nothing unusual. Xiao Fan smiled and said, what are you looking at? Actually, I found your character is quite cute. I rarely compliment people like this. I thought your sister should be cuter than you, but after a long time of contact, I realized, it turns out that you are much cuter than your younger sister, and your younger sister is at most a junior scholar. Fang Min smiled and said, you are really right about this point. In fact, I was the one my mother doted on when I was young, but later some burdens were placed on me, and I had to change my character, Xiao Fan said with a smile. Actually, people often force themselves to make some changes. For example, I used to think that I must be a playboy, or that I would become a second-generation ancestor who is ignorant. I can become the current. It looks like something I never imagined myself. Wang Min gave Xiao Fan a look and said, "Do you think you are much better now? Do you think you are not a playboy? Do you think you are not a playful rich second generation? Look at how many beautiful girls are around you. Woman? Sometimes I wish I could beat you hard. Of course I can't beat you. Wait until I can beat you." Xiao Fan replied earnestly, "Actually, I have become more serious. You have never experienced my experiences, so you can't understand many things for the time being, and maybe you will never be able to understand them. I also need some ways to vent my inner pressure of," Wang Min asked curiously. "Then can you tell me what you have experienced?" Xiao Fan suddenly laughed and said, "Why aren't you jealous? I thought you would ask some questions." Wang Min said helplessly, "What's the point if I'm jealous or not? In such an apocalypse, survival is the top priority. This apocalypse is no longer a normal society. I still treat it according to the original rules. In the last days, wouldn't I have trouble with myself?" Xiao Fan laughed and said, "Don't have any abnormal reactions. There are enemies staring at us not far away, and pretending to be friendly with me. Don't let the enemy see any flaws. You don't do anything. The timing is right. I will strike when the time comes. Remember to be obedient and watch how I fight." Wang Min obediently stared into Xiao Fan's eyes and asked, "You are not lying to me, are you? I looked around just now and found nothing unusual at all. Do you just want to make out with me? If you want to make out with me, just say so. I don't disagree. There's no need to play tricks like this," Xiao Fan said seriously. "Although you have awakened your abilities, you are lacking in many aspects. For example, you don't have the slightest ability to perceive danger. I don't know what your brain is thinking. If I really want to make out with you, do I still need to lie to you?" Wang Min said in frustration. "Is it really dangerous? I don't even feel anything. It seems that what you said is very correct. I need to improve quickly in all aspects, but how can I improve my danger perception ability? Can you teach me? I really want to be your powerful helper, and I can fight with you side by side when you need it," Xiao Fan replied. "A keen sense of the battlefield requires countless fights to form. This sense of smell is the ability to perceive danger. There is no way to be anxious, but you have awakened the ability to fly. I can always take you by my side. We can fight side by side together. Now our enemies are just staring at us cautiously, and have not acted rashly. Do you know what this means?" Wang Min thought for a while and replied, "Does this mean that if we have any abnormalities at this moment, he will be alerted, and then he will run away without hesitation, and we will miss the opportunity to kill him? Is that what it means?" Xiao Fan praised, "You are really a very smart beauty. To be honest, if the current occasion didn't allow it, I would have done you right now." Wang Min snorted, "You big villain, are you men like this? When did you still think about that thing in your heart? Then tell me, do you really want me in your heart? You just want me? Do you want to possess me, or do you think you like me a little?" Xiao Fan joked, "I won't answer this question for you for the time being. Let you feel it slowly and experience it yourself. You will spend more and more time with me in the future. Whoever awakened you is the flying ability. By the way, there is one more thing. I have to remind you, don't show your flying ability anytime and anywhere." Wang Min asked very incomprehensibly. "Why?" Xiao Fan replied, "If you show off your flying ability anytime and anywhere, I can guarantee that you must be the first target of the interstellar iron beetles' concentrated attack, and your combat power is so weak, it is not for no reason. There are many dangers." "Well, stop talking nonsense. That guy is now slowly trying to find a way to approach us. Now I will show you how I hunt and kill the enemy." Wang Min hurriedly began to feel the surrounding situation with her heart, but no matter how hard she felt, she didn't notice anything abnormal. If it wasn't for her absolute trust in Xiao Fan, she would definitely think that Xiao Fan was playing tricks. Of course, Wang Min also knows that there are a lot of things that she needs to improve in various aspects. At the same time, she feels that she is very happy. This guy Xiao Fan said that he will often be with her in the future. Thinking about it, Wang Min feels that his heart is extremely sweet. At this moment, Xiao Fan, who was lying on her knee very calmly, stood up abruptly. There was already a bone spear in his hand, and then he threw the bone spear in his hand viciously. The whole set of movements is smooth, without any sloppiness, and the whole set of movements is almost completed within 0.1 seconds. Chapter 113 Undead Monster. There really was a corpse there, and it was a very strange corpse, a monster with a bird's head on a human body. Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Well, I didn't lie to you, did I?" Wang Min asked, "What kind of ghost is this? How did it look like this? I've never seen it before." "Have you ever seen such a ghost?" Xiao Fan shook his head and replied, "I am also very puzzled. There are indeed some human traitors who would rather betray their own genes and turn themselves into interstellar iron beetles, but turning themselves into such a monster, I think it should not be him." Willingly, Wang Min and Xiao Fan walked towards the corpse together. Wang Min said as he walked, "I think no matter how perverted someone is, they will not be willing to become such a ghost. At least for me, I would rather be smashed to pieces, and don't become such a monster. It's really disgusting." Xiao Fan suddenly grabbed Wang Min and said, "Don't move anymore, something is wrong." As soon as Xiao Fan finished speaking, the monster that was originally regarded as a corpse suddenly stood up, looking even more weird, because a bone spear was still passing through his chest. Wang Min was taken aback. The monster survived such serious injuries, and Wang Min also saw an even more unbelievable scene in front of him. No blood flowed from the monster's wound. What was even more strange was that the wound began to heal quickly and automatically. As his mouth healed, the bone spear actually split into two pieces. That's right, the bone spear that could kill the interstellar iron beetle turned into three sections as the monster's wound healed, and the other section remained in the monster's body. Xiao Fan couldn't help but be surprised by the weird scene in front of him. It was also the first time he encountered such a scene. The monster made a human voice and said coldly, "Did it surprise you? Did it scare you? I'm really sorry, I'm not dead." Wang Min felt that her hands and feet were cold. She had a deep understanding of why Xiao Fan told herself that she still needs a lot of training in battles to truly grow into a warrior. If Xiao Fan hadn't been standing beside her in such a weird scene, she wouldn't even have the courage to face it. I'm afraid she would turn around and run away long ago, because the monster in front of her is really terrifying. Xiao Fan sneered, "It really surprised me, but as for being afraid, it's not enough." The monster sneered and said, "Your courage really surprised me. In fact, I noticed you from the moment you flew here. Although you hurt me just now, I don't intend to retaliate against you. I think the two of us can have a good time. Let's have a chat. Maybe we can find a common language." Xiao Fan asked, "I think the two of us can also find a common language. I agree with what you said, but before that, you have to answer me a question. That is, why did you become what you are now, this look? Did you have a serious side effect when you awakened the power? Or did the interstellar iron beetle turn you into this look?" The monster let out a sharp laugh and said, "I have to say that your judgment ability surprised me even more. It is true that I had a serious side effect when I awakened the power, and I became the ghost I am now, but I no regrets about it. Do you know why?" Xiao Fan said, "Because your awakened ability is very powerful." The monster nodded and replied, "I have to say that every word of yours can be said to the right point. You are a very smart person and a very knowledgeable person. Maybe the two of us can really cooperate with me. The world has changed, we have all changed, and there is no way to go back to the past. Would you like to take refuge in me?" Xiao Fan sneered, "Maybe you said that we can cooperate, and I can consider it, but you said that you want me to join you and become your little brother. I can only answer you with one word, get out." Wang Min also looked at the monster in front of her with disgust. To be honest, for a beautiful girl like Wang Min, seeing such a disgusting monster every day is a psychological torture to her. The monster was not angry but said with a smile, "You said 3 words, not 1 word. I know that it will be difficult for you to accept my request for a while, but this world has completely changed, and it has become more difficult for you to use strength. Let's talk. My strength is far above yours, so it's not a shame to take refuge in me." Xiao Fan shook his head and replied, "No matter what the world has become, even if the world has entered the end of the world, my heart has never changed. I will always be so proud. I will always be so proud. I want me to be you, dog. Do you think you are worthy? The interstellar iron beetle wants to buy me. Do you know what kind of results they all have?" The monster didn't speak, just listened quietly. Xiao Fan continued, "I killed them all. Of course, more interstellar iron beetles will come to this planet, but no matter how many enemies I face and how powerful they are, I am still so proud. I am still unconquerable, even death will not lower my noble head." The monster smiled and said, "But you should know that no matter how many interstellar iron beetles you have killed before, it is only a small part. The army of interstellar iron beetles will come to our planet soon, and you really have the courage to face them? Maybe I will bring you a completely different choice. You have also seen that I am immortal, and under the protection of my wings, you are actually immortal. Isn't this temptation enough for you?" Wang Min snorted coldly and said, "This temptation doesn't matter to us at all. To be honest, every time I see you like this, I can't help but want to vomit. If I follow you, I believe that every day I will life is worse than death, and that is really better than death." At this time, Wang Min also calmed down, and she was no longer as flustered as before, so she also said what was in her heart. She is so upright. She really felt very disgusted when she saw this monster, but he didn't know what he said, which seriously hurt the monster's self-esteem. For this monster, it is tolerable not to submit to his deterrence, but it is really unacceptable and unbearable for him to be unwilling to take refuge in him because he feels disgusted. Chapter 114 Accept your bet. Xiao Fan sneered, "You actually threatened me with my woman. Do you know what I hate the most? What I hate the most is when others threaten me with my woman, so to me, you are the real death. It's settled. Do you think you are really immortal? Then try to see if you will die or not." As soon as Xiao Fan finished speaking, he had another bone spear in his hand, and he was ready to fight now. Wang Min's heart was flattered. This stinky guy actually admitted that she was his woman, and was willing to work hard for him. Will the stinky guy let me call him uncle after seeing it? The monster sneered and said, "Young man, it's not that I look down on you. Even if I stand here and don't move, you can't kill me. If you don't believe me, just come here." Xiao Fan stopped talking nonsense, and pierced the bird's head with a spear. This blow used all the strength of Xiao Fan's body. The bird's head was shattered by Xiao Fan's blow, and the monster's body also laid down straight. Wang Min breathed a long sigh of relief and said, "This damn guy must be dead now. His bird's head is all broken into scum. Can he still live like this?" But just as Wang Min finished speaking, an even more unbelievable scene happened. The bird head, which had been shattered into slag, suddenly began to reassemble, quickly restored to integrity, and then immediately returned to life. The monster stood up again. He really come alive again. Fuck. Xiao Fan uttered a very rare swear word. Really has the ability of immortality. Xiao Fan suddenly felt that this world is very unfair. This person can awaken such an ability of undead. For those who cannot awaken the ability, it's so unfair. The monster said triumphantly, "Young people, don't be too surprised. The power I awakened may temporarily exceed your imagination, but it is too childish for me. It is still too late for you to change your mind. If you are willing to rely on me, maybe one day I can let you get such a magical ability." Xiao Fan looked at the monster calmly, but his heart was very restless, and he was like a stormy sea. He was a person who was never afraid of fighting, but now he felt a little overwhelmed. No matter how strong your fighting power is, you can kill the enemy one after another, but the enemy will be resurrected soon. If this kind of thing is put on anyone, everyone will feel powerless. The monster looked at Xiao Fan, and was even more elated to see him so silent. Wang Min was also very shocked at this time. He could live again if his mother was broken, and this would not let other people live. The monster said again even more rampantly, "Young man, why don't I give you 3 moves? You can attack me 3 times. Of course, you have already sent out the first attack. You still have 2 chances left. In these 2 I will never fight back during the attack. If you can't kill me with 3 attacks, or even hurt me, should you reconsider taking refuge in me? I really value your combat power, yes. I pity your talent very much, and I am willing to give you this opportunity." Xiao Fan finally said, "To be honest, your ability also shocked me very much. Why don't we make a deal? I believe the side effects of your ability will also bring you more or less troubles. There is a laboratory that specializes in the awakening of abilities, and is also researching how to suppress side effects when awakening abilities. If you are willing to rely on me, maybe one day in the future I can help you return to normal state." Xiao Fan is speaking from the heart at this time. He really values the monster's undead ability very much. The presence. The monster smiled and said, "Since you have such an idea, then there is a very fair bet between us. You want me to be your subordinate, and I want you to be my subordinate. Then let's make this bet. If you can't kill me in the next 2 blows, you will be my subordinate willingly. Of course, if you can hurt me, I will be your subordinate willingly. How? What the monster said really stumped Xiao Fan. Facing the monster in front of him, Xiao Fan really didn't have any confidence in being able to injure the monster. If he made this bet with a monster, it was obviously giving food, but if he didn't make this bet with a monster, he would be too cowardly. Xiao Fan is really in a dilemma right now. Should he agree to this monster? The monster seemed to guess Xiao Fan's entangled psychology, and sneered, "Young man, I give you such a favorable condition, and you don't even make up your mind to make this bet with me. I really look down on you. Be a man and take on the responsibility. Bravely accept my bet, especially in front of your woman." This monster is also a scheming whore. In order to make Xiao Fan accept his bet, he even used Fang Min as a factor. Fang Min hurriedly said, "Xiao Fan, don't talk to him, he uses aggressive tactics. Whether you want to bet with him or not, you are an indomitable man in my heart and an irreplaceable hero. They are all your women, and you will always be my only man." The monster sneered and said, "Perhaps you haven't thought that if your man doesn't make this bet with me, your end will be miserable. If I change my mind, I won't kill you, but I will kill your man, and then turn you into my woman. Don't you hate me very much? At that time, your good days will come. No matter how much you hate me, you have to serve me with a smiling face. It's amazing to think about it, how wonderful, my beauty." The murderous intent in Xiao Fan's heart rises infinitely. It's okay to insult Xiao Fan, but the woman who insults Xiao Fan is absolutely unacceptable. The monster in front of him is doomed, and no one can save him. Xiao Fan's eyes narrowed slightly, and he shot two sharp swords out of his eyes, intending to smash the monster in front of him to pieces. He said word by word, "I accept your bet, but I remind you to be ready to die." Chapter 115, The Way to Kill Undead Monsters. After a while, if my man loses, my mother and I will run away with my man. My mother and my man will fly away. What can you do with my wife and my man? Xiao Fan is actually not blind now. He has a conjecture in his heart. If this conjecture is true, he feels that he may kill the monster in front of him. Of course, he may also face the result of failure, and failure is nothing. Xiao Fan is not a gentleman in this apocalyptic world, and he doesn't know how to be honest with his enemies. At worst, he and Fang Min can just leave. In fact, this pair of dogs and men have exactly the same thoughts now. They are like a natural pair. Of course, the monster doesn't know Xiao Fan's true inner thoughts, because he doesn't know that from the moment he humiliated Fang Min, he and Xiao Fan are already endless enemies. The monster sneered and said, "I don't know if you are ready. I don't need to make any preparations at all. You can attack me anytime. I hope your second blow will not disappoint me." Xiao Fan stabbed out with a spear suddenly. The spear used all the strength of his whole body, and with a huge vibration force, it shattered the monster's body in front of him. Then, with a thought, the monster's body fragments were crushed. He took it into his own power space, and when the fragments of the monster's body disappeared, Xiao Fan let out a long sigh of relief. He knew that his guess was completely correct. Although the monster was very powerful, it would indeed be killed. The reason why it didn't die was because the monster could be resurrected within a certain period of time. However, when the fragments of the monster's corpse enter its own power space, due to the special function of its own power space, that is, the moment when the fragments of the monster's corpse are taken into the power space, it will be kept forever. The dead state of the monster, so that the monster will never get the chance to be resurrected. This time, Xiao Fan used his power space to get the chance to kill monsters. A smile appeared on Xiao Fan's face. This time, there was a feeling of survival after a catastrophe. Xiao Fan rarely felt this kind of feeling, but this time it really happened. It can be seen how much this undead monster shocked Xiao Fan. Fang Min jumped into Xiao Fan's arms very excitedly, and gagged his mouth fiercely. This time, when both of them felt exhausted and could not breathe, the world returned to calm. Fang Min said excitedly, "I knew you were omnipotent, and a little monster is still showing off its might in front of you. Isn't this just looking for death? Now he's a worthy place to die?" Xiao Fan suddenly let out a cry of surprise, and Fang Min hurriedly asked, "What's going on? Could it be that the monster came back to life?" Xiao Fan shook his head, and when he thought about it, there was a silver white shiny ball in his palm, and this ball exuded a faint charm. Fang Min said in surprise, "This thing must also be able to awaken supernatural powers." Xiao Fan nodded and replied, "This should be the crystal nucleus that has undergone a second evolution in the monster's body. If it can be used again, it may also be able to awaken the undead ability." Fang Min shouted excitedly, "Let me have a try." Maybe I can awaken the ability of immortality, Xiao Fan joked. You think it over. If you think it over, you can take it. If you turn into that bird, don't blame me for not warning you. I won't touch you again. Wang Min, who was very excited at first, suddenly changed into a very depressed expression, and said listlessly, although the undead ability is very amazing, but my flying skills are also amazing. At that time, it was just that I didn't use it. Otherwise, even if this monster has the ability of immortality, so what? I can't help it. Xiao Fan couldn't help laughing. In fact, he was just making a joke with Wang Min. A person who wants to awaken his ability for the second time is not that simple. Besides, Wang Min spent so much time to awaken his ability. Great strength, even if she can awaken the ability for the second time, it will never be so simple. Xiao Fan wanted to give Wang Min the ball inside to play a prank on purpose. Wang Min backed away in fright, shaking his head like a rattle. In her eyes, the ball in Xiao Fan's hand had almost turned into like a scourge. It is a demon that must not be approached. Xiao Fan didn't deliberately tease her, put the ball away and said, "Come here, I can't help but want to do you now." Wang Min threw herself into Xiao Fan's arms as shyly as a little bird cuddling her. In the underground fortress, Fang Fei was really anxious to wait. Why hasn't his stinky brother and his eldest daughter come back yet? The two of them must have encountered some danger outside, right? These two people are so big, and they are still like children, and they can't be contacted. Should I let myself go out to find them? Fang Fei said bitterly. Old lady, I seldom lose my temper. This time, wait for that damn girl to come back, and see if I don't punish him severely. Fang Lin said with a helpless wry smile. My dear mother, don't talk big. What you are saying now is justified, but when my sister comes back, you will become cowardly when you see her. If I were you, I simply didn't say anything, although I feel very suffocated. At least others can't see it. Fang Fei said angrily. You damn girl, even you look down on mom. Don't think you are a power awakener. Mom is also a power awakener now. Maybe mom's power is stronger than yours. If you look down on mom again, mom will clean you up before cleaning up your sister. Fang Lin immediately confessed and said, my good mother, I admit that your supernatural powers are extremely powerful. Daughter, I am not worth mentioning in front of you. You are much more powerful than my daughter. Daughter, I confess to you, my good mother, please spare your daughter this time. Daughter, I was wrong, and my daughter, I apologize to you. It's okay. Only then did Fang Fei show a very satisfied smile. Although Fang Fei is the mother of 2 children, she has always been a girl at heart. Fang Lin, who is a professor of genius and beautiful girl, is such a smart girl. I know it too well, so coaxing my mother to come is also very handy. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116 Sad Zhang Weilin. My daughter has grown up, and a mother like her would rather pretend to be confused about many things. Xiao Fan was still thinking about how he could explain why he had disappeared for so long, but in the blink of an eye, he saw Zhang Weilin standing in the distance. Xiao Fan couldn't help feeling a little regretful. He cared too little for her these days. Xiao Fan turned and walked towards Zhang Weilin, and Zhang Weilin saw Xiao Fan walking towards her, and turned back to her room. Xiao Fan followed Zhang Weilin into her room and saw Zhang Weilin's eyes were red. Xiao Fan walked over and said very apologetically, I'm really sorry, I paid too little attention to you these days. It's because I didn't do well enough, and I will never do this again in the future. Zhang Weilin shook her head and said, I just miss you very much, and I love you very much. I know that you are always fighting these days. In fact, you are the person who has the hardest life. But I really feel very uncomfortable in my heart. I seeing that so many people have awakened their abilities, and I am still an ordinary person. Do you know how uncomfortable I am? How I wish that the person who is by your side is me, even if I can't be with you every day by your side, even if I can be by your side once in a while. After listening to Zhang Weilin's confession, Xiao Fan was really moved. He owed this woman too much, whether it was the last time in the end of the world or this reunion, he owed this woman a lot. Xiao Fan gently wiped away her tears and said, Don't worry, I will help you awaken your abilities as soon as possible. This is my promise to you, I will never lose my word to you, and I must help you perfectly. You have awakened the ability, Zhang Weilin couldn't help crying. Actually, I don't want to cry. I want you to see my smiling face, but after seeing you, I just can't help it. Am I so useless? Not only can I not awaken the ability, but also I can't even control myself whether I am crying or laughing. I'm so incompetent, Xiao Fan said distressedly. You must be able to awaken your abilities. How can you be incompetent? You are the most perfect woman in this world. In the future, you will be the most powerful after awakening your abilities. Xiao Fan didn't lie this time. Zhang Weilin's ability awakened in the last apocalypse is really the most powerful ability he has ever seen. Of course it refers to women, but the side effects are also very serious. It was precisely because of the side effects in the process of awakening the power that Zhang Weilin chose to die with the interstellar iron beetle. This time Xiao Fan will never allow this situation to happen no matter what. He must protect this woman. This woman once brought him infinite tenderness. That is the warmest memory he has ever had. So she will never allow this woman again. There is no accident at all. Zhang Weilin showed a very hopeful look and asked, Xiao Fan, is what you said true or false? Did you not lie to me? I want you to tell me the truth, not as long as you comfort me. If you are just comforting me, I will feel more pain in my heart in the future. Xiao Fan also knew in his heart at this time that the three mothers and daughters of the Fang family had awakened their abilities one after another, which had a great impact on everyone, and of course had a great impact on Zhang Weilin, especially sisters Mu Hong and Mu Ying who also awakened their abilities. This was another huge shock, which made Zhang Weilin feel a little unbearable. Xiao Fan didn't dare to let her try to awaken her abilities right now, in case of any serious side effects and Zhang Weilin's extreme reaction. What should Xiao Fan do? Xiao Fan could only comfort him patiently. Weilin, believe me, you must be the best at that time. I didn't lie to you in the slightest. Every word is very serious, but the awakening ability comes first. Finally, you are just a little behind. It is precisely because your awakening time may be relatively late, so once awakened, it must be the most powerful kind of ability. Please believe me, I am talking to you with my heart. There is absolutely no word that is deceiving you. Xiao Fan also knew that there must be false elements in what he said, but what can he do now? Facing the woman he values most, he can only use this method to comfort him. Even if there is a lie in it, it is a very white lie. Zhang Weilin suddenly asked, Xiao Fan, in fact, when I face you, I am very unconfident. Although our meeting was very accidental, your love for me was so strong and shocked me, but I don't even understand why you have such strong feelings for me. So I have been unable to figure this out, so I lack self-confidence when facing you. I don't know how important I am in your heart. Xiao Fan hurriedly said, of course you have an extremely important position in my heart. You don't need to have any doubts about this. When you are in danger, I can even die for you without hesitation. Do you think you have a particularly important position in my heart? Zhang Weilin hastily covered Xiao Fan's mouth and said, don't say such stupid things. Don't always talk about death and death. Even if one day I really encounter some danger, I hope you can take care of yourself. Live, don't suffer any harm because of me. Between my safety and yours, if I have to choose, I will definitely choose to hope that you will be safe and sound. Xiao Fan hugged the woman in front of her tightly, and moved. There are some things that I can't do, so I'm very sorry for some things, but it's my fault that I can't let you awaken your abilities as soon as possible. I hope you give me some time and wait patiently. I really don't want to make you sad, and I feel very sad to see you sad. Zhang Weilin said softly, I will do whatever you ask me to do. But can you promise me a request? Xiao Fan asked back, what request do you want me to promise you? Of course, as long as I don't ask you to awaken your ability, I will agree to any request you make. As long as you say it, I will help you do it. In the future don't be so cautious when talking to me, remember that everything about me is yours, just ask what you want, and I will agree. Zhang Weilin asked in great surprise, Xiao Fan, what you said is true? If what you said is true, I will say it. After I say it, you must not refuse, otherwise I will say it, cry. Chapter 117 Sudden Accident. He felt that he owed this woman too much, and he couldn't finish it. Zhang Weilin said happily, I know that Wang Min suddenly awakened because of a small ball you gave her. I also want such a small ball. After Xiao Fan listened, he said with a troubled face, Weilin, can you change your request? It's not that I'm not willing to give it to you, even if I give you everything in my hand. But can you change it, a request? You cannot awaken the ability now, because the time has not yet come. Zhang Weilin replied seriously, I don't want to awaken the ability, I just want a small ball like that. I want to give myself some comfort, and I want to see hope for myself, Xiao Fan said very patiently, but sometimes the timing of awakening the ability is inexplicable. For example, Fang Min's awakening ability is completely inexplicable this time. Even her mother and sister's awakening ability is also inexplicable. If you are inexplicable awakening the ability, the consequences are very serious. Zhang Weilin didn't say anything, but the expression on her face clearly told Xiao Fan, I don't believe what you said. Are you lying to me again? Xiao Fan could only say, do you know why Fang Min and I went out for so long this time before we came back? Zhang Weilin asked. Why? Xiao Fan replied very seriously, we met a monster. That guy awakened his abilities when he shouldn't have awakened them. Although the awakened abilities are extremely powerful, his side effects are also very large. He has become a monster with a human body and a bird head, and it is very disgusting that it is neither human nor ghost. Zhang Weilin snorted, I don't believe you're lying to me on purpose. Xiao Fan explained helplessly, I really didn't lie to you. If you don't believe me, I will take you to ask Fang Min right now. You go and ask, is it true or not? If I lied to you, if it is, Fang Min must not know about it. As long as you ask her, I will reveal my truth. It's not that Zhang Weilin doesn't believe in Xiao Fan, she is really anxious now. Most of this anxiety stems from lack of self-confidence, although she can see that Xiao Fan attaches great importance to her in her heart, but she doesn't have the end-of-the-world memory. I don't even know how deep Xiao Fan's feelings for her are, so when she saw the women around her awakening their abilities one by one, she became extremely anxious. Awakening abilities meant that she could fight side by side with Xiao Fan, and spend more and more time with Xiao Fan, and I may be eliminated. If I don't awaken my ability, it may become a luxury to meet Xiao Fan in the future, let alone talk about feelings. So even though deep in her heart she believed that every word Xiao Fan said to her was true, but she was so unwilling, she wanted to make a fuss. What if she could awaken the power smoothly? So Zhang Weilin nodded and said, then I will go with you to meet Fang Min. But there is a little discrepancy between what the two of you said, that is, you are lying to me, and you will give me a small ball as compensation. Xiao Fan also understands the reason for Zhang Weilin's fuss. So he is so tolerant, but this is also a matter of indifference. Whether he has deceived Zhang Weilin in this matter, it is actually a good thing for Zhang Weilin to prove it. Let her realize how terrible it is to have side effects in the process of awakening abilities. Maybe the woman in front of him will become more patient and down to earth. Which is not a good thing, so facing the request of the woman in front of him, Xiao Fan immediately agreed. Xiao Fan and Zhang Weilin found Fang Min together. A trace of dissatisfaction flashed in Fang Min's eyes, but this time the dissatisfaction was only fleeting. She is a very smart woman and knows what to do in this apocalyptic world. Xiao Fan said, Weilin, if there is anything you want to ask now, just ask. Fang Min still felt a little unhappy when he heard Xiao Fan's words. What does this damned stinky man mean? Isn't it a good thing for everyone to be vague about some things? Pick it up. But just when Fang Min was thinking wildly, Zhang Weilin asked, Sister Fang Min, I want to ask if you and Xiao Fan met a monster when you went out just now. Fang Min heaved a long sigh of relief when he heard this question. Although this damned smelly man was very unreliable, he still left some leeway in doing things and didn't ask any embarrassing questions. Fang Min hurriedly replied, we did meet a monster. That monster was really disgusting. Thinking of a big bird head, it looked disgusting. It was he who had a serious side effect when he awakened the power, but his awakened ability is also very terrifying, the kind of undead ability that can't be killed no matter how hard he kills. Fortunately Xiao Fan's ability space is extremely powerful, otherwise we might not be able to come back this time. Of course we are killing him afterwards. We also got a good loot, a ball from his body. Maybe it can help a person awaken the undead ability. Zhang Weilin asked, I also found a ball from that monster's body? What kind of ball is it? Can I have a look? What Fang Min said was almost exactly the same as what Xiao Fan said, which made Zhang Weilin have some doubts. Did the two of them discuss some things before they came back? Otherwise, why did the two of them agree so much? So Zhang Weilin made this request, wanting to take a look at that ball. Xiao Fan took out a ball from his supernatural space, put it in his palm and said, it's just such a thing. I can't even feel the huge energy contained in this ball, but I can guarantee that there must be extremely strong energy inside this ball. If the energy of this ball is released, it will definitely cause huge damage. The reason why Xiao Fan said these words was to scare Zhang Weilin and prevent this woman from asking for this ball. Zhang Weilin stared at the ball, and suddenly her two beautiful big eyes were a little straight. Xiao Fan felt that the situation was not good, and hurriedly wanted to put away her ball, but at this moment, something happened suddenly. A surprise that no one could have imagined. Chapter 118 There is a solution. Zhang Weilin uttered a scream, and fell straight backwards. Xiao Fan quickly hugged Zhang Weilin, but looking at the beauty in his arms, he has completely lost consciousness. Xiao Fan's heart sank all of a sudden. The damn thing is that he is awakening his abilities. What if he really is awakening his abilities and has serious side effects? What should he do? Was it the unbearable tragedy of the last time? Do it all over again? Wang Min didn't take it seriously, and even had a flash of surprise in her eyes. For her, being able to awaken one more person's ability will strengthen her own power. This is a great thing. Of course, there is nothing wrong with her thinking this way. Zhang Weilin's awakening ability will have serious side effects. Wang Min is completely unaware of this. Xiao Fan seemed at a loss. Although he had been fighting in the last days for 50 years, he had no way of preventing a person from awakening his abilities. Zhang Weilin's breathing began to become weaker and weaker, even taking only one breath every 10 seconds. For a normal person, this breathing rate can be declared brain dead, but for a person who is about to awaken his abilities, it is actually considered a normal thing matter. Xiao Fan hugged her and didn't dare to move. Later, Zhang Weilin's mother came, and her father also came, but they couldn't do anything to look at their daughter, especially Zhang Weilin's mother just cried. At this moment, Xiao Fan gave me a long sigh of relief. Although he has been holding the woman in his arms without moving, he has been counting the time in his heart. It has been at least 2 hours, but Zhang Weilin has no reaction. It doesn't look like Zhang Weilin is awakening a supernatural power. What's going on? Of course Xiao Fan didn't dare to act rashly even though he had this conjecture in his heart. He still hugged the woman in his arms quietly all the time. After waiting for another 2 hours, the woman in his arms still didn't move at all. It's not about awakening abilities. At least it doesn't look like a normal awakening ability. Otherwise, even if the awakening ability is not over, it is a very critical moment. Xiao Fan said, Weilin may not be awakened, but she just fell into coma temporarily. Now take her back to the room, uncle, and don't worry too much. Xiao Fan looked at Fang Lin, who was on the side, and said, you are at least half a doctor, come with me, in case you can help me. Fang Lin nodded and followed Xiao Fan. Zhang Weilin's parents followed closely behind. Fang Min was puzzled and said to himself, what's going on? Under normal circumstances, everyone should have awakened their abilities, but Zhang Weilin didn't respond at all. Could it be that the awakening ability failed? It's really very strange. It's a pity, but that can awaken the undead ability. Yu Wenli asked, Fang Min, what did you say about the undead ability? Fang Min rolled her eyes at Yu Wenli and said, big sister, what I say is none of your business. Yu Wenli snorted and said, Fang Min, I think you really think you are capable, don't you? Before, you thought you didn't embarrass yourself enough. Do you want to continue to embarrass yourself in my hands? While Yu Wenli was talking, an energy ball appeared in the palm of her right hand. Fang Min laughed hastily. My good sister is just joking with you. Why are you so serious and want to fight me hard every now and then? Do you want to completely destroy our underground fortress? Yu Wenli snorted. What do you mean by what you just said? Hurry up and talk to my sister. Fang Min talked about the undead monster, and everyone present opened their mouths wide open. Someone had such abilities, which made everyone feel very shocked. Immediately afterwards, expressions of regret appeared on their faces. It's really a pity for everyone to waste a small ball that can awaken the undead ability. In Zhang Weilin's room, Xiao Fan looked at Fang Lin and asked, Professor, is there any way to wake her up as soon as possible? Or can you confirm what happened to her? Fang Lin replied, I am not a real doctor. You have said that I am at most half a doctor, but you ask me such a profound question. I feel that I have some ways to answer you. At least you have to ask. Give me some time, let me study and study, at least move her to my laboratory. Xiao Fan said speechlessly, this is my mistake. I didn't think that doctors would be useful, otherwise I would stockpile a few doctors. Zhang Weilin's father couldn't stand the depressing atmosphere in front of him, and he was becoming more and more afraid to face his unconscious daughter, so he quietly chose to go out and continue to supervise the work, because in fact, he couldn't do anything in the room except to be anxious. Zhang Weilin's mother looked at Xiao Fan and said, Xiao Fan, Do you think Lanlin will not be in any real danger? If something happens to my daughter, what should I do as a mother? Xiao Fan hurriedly comforted, and, don't worry. Maybe this is not a bad thing, but a good thing. Because Lanlin's awakening ability is extremely powerful, it takes longer than others. What about it? So at this time, we have to be patient enough, let alone lose our sense of proportion. Zhang Weilan's mother barely stopped crying when she heard Xiao Fan's words, but in fact, although Xiao Fan said so, he didn't have any bottom line in his heart. He has never encountered such a situation before. What is going on? Does it take longer to awaken the ability than others? Xiao Fan, you'd rather not. If Zhang Weilan is really awakening a supernatural power, that would be a really terrifying thing, Fang Lin said, but according to my observation, there is no need to worry too much. Although Lan's breathing rate is very slow, it is very stable. There should be no danger to her life. I just checked her pulse. Although the frequency it is also very slow, but it is very powerful. This shows that her physical condition is relatively optimistic. Xiao Fan worried, but what kind of state is she in now? Can you find a way to find out? Is she just in a temporary coma? Or is she in the process of awakening? Can you think of a way to confirm what kind of situation does Lanlin belong to? Fang Lin fell silent. She thought this was a very good research topic, and she really wanted to study Zhang Weilan with her own equipment, but Xiao Fan disagreed. Suddenly Fang Lin's eyes lit up and said, maybe I have a way to really determine which state she belongs to. Chapter 119 Not a Solution. Fang Lin glanced at Xiao Fan and said, and, don't worry, this method is not particularly mature yet. I need to discuss it with Mr. Xiao first, and then tell you. Zhang Weilan's mother is also a very wise woman. Knowing that Fang Lin has some words that are inconvenient for her to hear, so she bid farewell very tactfully and left her daughter's room for the time being. Xiao Fan asked, very puzzled, Professor, what can you do? Don't tell Aunt to listen? You also know that Aunt is very worried about her daughter. Fang Lin smiled wryly and said, actually, I have no other choice. I just saw that Aunt was so pitiful and didn't want her to worry, so I deliberately said that there was a way. In fact, you just need to play a scene with me to make Aunt think there is no way. Aunt will not be too sad and worried. Of course, I can be sure now that although I don't know why Zhang Weilan is in a coma, at least her physical condition is relatively good, and there should be no danger. Xiao Fan stared at the little professor in front of him. This girl is so smart. If it can be confirmed that Zhang Weilan is really just in a coma and her life is not in danger, then doing what she said is really not a solution. Xiao Fan nodded and said, then do as you said, but what should we do now? Fang Lin replied, wait a minute. When Aunt comes in, I said that I have checked her daughter in detail with my ability, and can confirm that her daughter is awakening the ability, but the time required is still unknown. She should not be too blindly anxious, but be patient enough to wait. Xiao Fan said, I can cooperate with you on this point, just do what you say. Xiao Fan looked at Zhang Weilan, who seemed to be sleeping, and felt very complicated in his heart. I hope it is really not the awakening ability, even if the awakening ability must not produce any side effects. Xiao Fan really doesn't want to lose this woman in front of her again. Fang Lin suddenly asked, Zhang Weilan is very important to you, isn't it? Xiao Fan nodded and replied, it is very important to me. The reason why I found you is actually because of her. I know that she can definitely awaken the ability, but when she awakens the ability, there will be serious side effects. This is serious. The side effects of it will make her collapse. I don't want this to happen. Fang Lin suddenly said, it turns out that you know her so well and have done so much for her. She is actually a very lucky and happy woman, and I feel a little jealous of her in my heart. Xiao Fan asked in disbelief. I said, Professor, you can say such a thing, which really surprised me. Apart from learning, you actually know what emotion is. Fang Lin snorted coldly and said, you really make me feel speechless. I am also a woman, and I am a young girl like a young girl, and I am also a talented and beautiful girl, Professor. Why can't I understand feelings? In your eyes, am I just a machine that can only do experiments? Xiao Fan hurriedly shook his head and replied, of course I don't mean that. What I mean is that you seem to put all your energy into learning. Fang Lin snorted, do you think you're the only one who understands feelings? After Fang Lin finished speaking, she opened the door and went out to do the ideological work of Zhang Weilan's mother. Xiao Fan bent down and gently sucked Fang Lin's forehead and said, Lanlin, I don't know if you can hear me, but I still want to tell you. You must find a way to survive by yourself. This level. I'm really powerless now. I don't know how to help you. I'm really, really sorry. I want to do everything I can to help you, but I don't know how to help you. I feel God is so unfair to you. Why is it so cruel every time? The last time we met, you not only saved my life, but also gave me everything about you, but I insisted on letting you awaken your powers, but in the end you died. The pain of forgetting. This time I finally had a chance to have you again, but such an accident happened again. Could it be that this is God's trick on me? Maybe I am really not a good man, but I am willing to give everything I have for you. As long as you are safe and sound, I am willing to die myself. I owe you too much? You gave me the best life in my life, beautiful memories, but I haven't given you anything, even the love I promised to love you. I haven't had the chance to realize it yet. A drop of tear fell on Zhang Weilan's cheek, and suddenly the tear penetrated into Zhang Weilan's jade-like skin, but Xiao Fan, who is in grief, doesn't pay any attention. Xiao Fan continued, actually, sometimes I am really selfish. I know that I am not a good man. I am greedy and playful. Sometimes I am so useless that I can't walk when I see a beautiful woman. But to be honest, I still owe you the most. Please give me a chance, let me make up for everything I owe you. If God is really willing to give me such a chance, I swear that I will cherish you. I really swear that I will use my life to protect you. I beg you to wake up, Lanlan. Please, don't torture me like this anymore. I know I was wrong. I won't bother in the future. It's okay. Xiao Fan's tears kept dripping on Zhang Weilan's cheeks, and were absorbed by Zhang Weilan's skin. Finally Xiao Fan himself felt something was wrong. He stared at Zhang Weilan, who was in a coma. The woman's body was undergoing strange changes. Xiao Fan felt his heart be pulled violently, as if his heart was being tightly grasped by someone. It's so painful that I can't breathe anymore. Could it be that Zhang Weilan is having side effects? Xiao Fan couldn't help trembling with both hands, and gently wanted to touch Zhang Weilan's cheek, but he didn't have the courage to do so, worried that the moment he touched her cheek, all the side effects would suddenly disappear. Activate, then he will be a sinner who will never be forgiven. Xiao Fan has never been so scared, never been so worried. He is really too afraid to lose this woman again. He would rather lose his life than lose this woman. Chapter 120 Drinking Your Blood. Xiao Fan's tears dripped down on Zhang Weilan's cheeks again, and they were absorbed by the skin on Zhang Weilan's cheeks. Xiao Fan almost collapsed. What the hell happened? Suddenly Zhang Weilan's body trembled violently. Her eyes opened suddenly, the whole eyes turned ice blue, and then they closed suddenly. Her body regained calm again. Xiao Fan was dumbfounded. What happened just now? Xiao Fan couldn't care about anything anymore, and grabbed Zhang Weilan's jade hand tightly and said, Lanlan, I know you are awakening your abilities now. I also know that I shouldn't disturb you at this time, but there are some things I have to say. You say. Your life not only belongs to you, but also belongs to me. If you are really gone one day, I will go with you. So I order you to be strong, even for me. We must suppress the occurrence of side effects. This is not only for yourself, but also for me. I think our future, as long as you can do it this time, I swear that I will only love you as a woman in the future, and I will only have you as a woman. I beg you, don't abandon me. I have never been so afraid of losing a woman, except for you. I have never felt this way. I have never been so humble. I have never begged anyone like this. How many times my life is on the edge of a cliff. How many times I have been injured and bloody. How many times I have been dying. I have never begged anyone like this. This I beg you wants to be strong and overcome the side effects. Zhang Weilan's body trembled violently again. Her eyes opened again violently. This time they turned golden yellow, but they opened for a longer time, but they closed again. Xiao Fan was a little overwhelmed. He felt his hands and feet were cold. He had never been so helpless. In fact, he had faced the test of life and death many times, but he had never been so helpless like today. He looked at the struggling woman in front of him and now regained his composure, and begged, Lanlan, do you know how deep you can love someone? In fact, no matter how ugly you become, I think I can accept you. If you are really in pain right now, just let everything go. As long as you don't mind, I certainly won't mind either. No matter how ugly you become, I can still treat you as my treasure. Zhang Weilan seemed to hear this sentence, and trembled more violently, and kept trembling. Even blood overflowed from the corner of her mouth, and it kept overflowing. Zhang Weilan is in very, very pain. Even if she can't speak, as long as someone sees her current state, she will understand how painful she is now. She is struggling. Xiao Fan knows why she is struggling, but Xiao Fan was helpless, suddenly heard the sound of teeth gnashing from Zhang Weilan's mouth, and Xiao Fan saw more blood flowing from her mouth. Xiao Fan was really worried that this woman would bite off her tongue. He stretched out his palm without hesitation, and the woman bit his palm fiercely. Xiao Fan immediately felt a piercing pain, as if a piece of his own flesh was about to be torn off, but Xiao Fan didn't make a sound, let alone take back his hand. Although he didn't know how to help this woman, he knew that this woman was in much more pain than himself. If you can use this method to share the pain with her, then let's bear it together. Xiao Fan felt his hand being torn apart, his own blood kept flowing into Zhang Weilan's mouth. Zhang Weilan gulped down his blood. Not only did Xiao Fan no longer feel the pain, but he felt very warm at this moment. He recalled the memories of his previous life. You woke up, your injury is too serious, don't move around casually, these are some herbs I picked, I don't know if it will help your injury, but I think in such a situation, having medicine is always better than no medicine. What's your name? My name is Zhang Weilan, tell you not to move around casually. Why are you disobedient at all? If you are disobedient again, I will get angry. Once I get angry, I will ignore you. Look at your wound and you will tear it up again. Why are people like this? You don't feel the pain yourself, I feel the pain for you. Oh, you really hate it. You can't take a few more steps and pee directly at the door of someone's room. That thing of yours is so ugly, put it away quickly. Oh, when you put it away, can you put it away? After cleaning up the water and putting it away, it all got on my pants. Xiao Fan, do you think it is possible for us to have a child? Do you want a daughter or a son? If you want a daughter, I think you can fulfill your wish, because I feel that you are smarter than me many. When men are smarter than women, it is easier to have daughters. Xiao Fan, when you see this note, don't think about me anymore. I'm gone. You have to take care of yourself, or it's neither you nor mine, it's the world that's wrong. I am alive, I have never regretted meeting you. If I were given a chance to choose again, I would not hesitate to become your woman. Even at the cost of my life, I will not regret it. It is just a pity that I didn't do this thing. I promised to give you a daughter. There is no way to realize it in this life, but I really hope that there will be an afterlife. Scenes of memories flooded his mind. Xiao Fan suddenly let out a heart-piercing scream. He burst into pain, and he no longer had any scruples. Zhang Weilan's mother, Feng Lin, and almost everyone who heard Xiao Fan's screams rushed in. Then they were stunned again. They saw that Zhang Weilan's body was undergoing hormone changes. The color of her body was flowing like colorful colors, and she began to have different hallucinations in her body. Suddenly Zhang Weilan let go of Xiao Fan's bloody palm, and she let out an earth-shattering scream. At this moment, her eyes opened suddenly, and then the color of her eyes also kept changing, blue, gold, white, black, and finally returned to the original normal color. Zhang Weilan's violently shaking body began to enter a more unusual shaking frequency, and the whole person looked extremely terrifying. Chapter 121 Awakening Undead Ability. A look of light slowly appeared in her eyes slowly rolled, she looked at Xiao Fan and said, your blood is so salty, your tears are so bitter. Xiao Fan laughed, smiled and cried like a child. Everyone looked at it inexplicably, but some people felt uncomfortable, and couldn't tell whether it was jealousy or envy. Zhang Weilan struggled to sit up, put her arms around Xiao Fan's neck and said, am I a vampire? I drank so much of your blood just now. Xiao Fan wiped away his tears and said, I have a lot of blood, I can drink it anytime I want. Even if you are really a vampire, I promise to feed you enough. Feng Lin couldn't help coughing and said, I tell you, are you still willing to continue eating dog food here? As long as you don't feel sour, you can continue to eat here. I am so sour and my teeth are soft. I can't stand it any longer. I'm leaving. Then one by one the figures left. Zhang Weilan's mother finally closed the door for them. Both of them gagged each other's mouths. This time it was a dark day. If it wasn't for the fact that they couldn't breathe, they really couldn't bear to part. Zhang Weilan panted and said, thank you very, very much, for letting me know how much you love me. All the unreliable feelings in the past have disappeared. If it wasn't for you just now, I think I might really it will become a monster. It was you who made me feel your love, then I ate your tears, then I drank your blood, and I even swallowed a piece of your meat, which made me stay strong. Are you in pain? Xiao Fan looked at his horrible right palm and sighed. Do you think it hurts? Zhang Weilan smiled and said, actually, I have heard what you said to me. In such an apocalyptic world, I think you have done well enough. If you are really greedy, you will have more people around you, my sister. So I don't want to occupy you alone, but you have to promise me one condition, Xiao Fan asked with a smile. My life is yours, don't say one condition, just take my life away. Zhang Weilin smiled and cried, and said, if you encounter such a situation in the future, I don't want you to pay for me like this. Do you know how painful my heart is? It's not that you only love me, I love you too. You will feel pain when you see me suffer, but my heart hurts even more when you see your hands. Xiao Fan gently wiped away her tears and said, I don't know what else this world can bring us. Maybe there is no bright future for us, so I especially cherish the relationship between us. This is what I can have in my life. The last good thing in this world. How can I agree to your terms? I will never lose you. Just now do you know how much my heart hurts, seeing you in such pain, but I can't do anything. It's just letting you bite my hand. What's the big deal? I'm willing to let you eat my heart. As long as I can save you, Zhang Weilin suddenly said, thinking about how stupid I was before, I feel very sorry for you. At that time you said that you love me very much, but I always feel uneasy in my heart. I think there is no reason for my love, and I always worry about what I get. Sorry, I should always believe in you, and should not doubt you under any circumstances. I will never do that in the future, please forgive me. Xiao Fan smiled and said, fool, it's very normal for you to think that way. I never blamed you, in fact, I'm still curious now, do you think I'm an nympho? A person who sees a beautiful woman can't walk the libertine, Zhang Weilin smiled and said, you guess it yourself, but I will give you a hint. I once thought of such words in my heart, big carrot, lustful rich second generation, playboy. Xiao Fan hastily stopped and said, your mental activities are still too rich, I think it's better to stop for a while, otherwise my little heart can't bear it, and it's beating so hard, I'm worried that my little heart will bear it, without too much pressure. You suddenly exploded under your rich vocabulary, Zhang Weilin said angrily, what nonsense are you talking about? With your thick skin, will your heart explode? I think if this world explodes, you, a thick-skinned guy, will be safe and sound. Xiao Fan giggled and said, I take your words as a compliment to me. My face is stronger than this world. What a perfect compliment to me. One day this world will really, if it explodes, I will build you a house on my face, and let you continue to live on my face. Zhang Weilin smiled and said, okay, why don't you know how to be shy at all, and you still talk nonsense like this? Do you know what supernatural power I awakened? This time I have gone through so much hardship, I think I finally got my reward. Guess what ability I awakened? Xiao Fan asked, could it be that what you awakened is the undead ability? Zhang Weilin nodded and replied, I think what I awakened is the undead ability, and it is an undead ability without any side effects. I can feel my own body, which is really very special. It seems to have endless vitality. I think I cannot die under any circumstances. Why don't you give it a try? Xiao Fan immediately said very sternly, shut your mouth, you stinky woman. Seeing Xiao Fan suddenly become so severe and calling herself a stinky woman, Zhang Weilin not only didn't get angry, but instead laughed and said, why are you so nervous? I'm just kidding you. What are you doing? Are you serious? I know you love me, so you won't make such jokes in the future. But there is one sentence you said wrong, people don't stink at all. If you don't believe me, smell me very fragrant. Xiao Fan said speechlessly, you should be more careful in the future. Can this kind of thing be used as a joke? Even if you have awakened the undead ability, I will not allow you to suffer any damage. Absolutely not. Just kidding like this, in the future you are not allowed to think about awakening the immortality ability and not cherishing yourself, then my heart will be very painful. Do you know? Even if it is not for yourself, it will not make me hurt for me. Zhang Weilin nodded and replied, I know I was wrong. People will stop joking around like this in the future, so don't be angry. Hee, it's really fun to watch you get angry sometimes. Do you think I'm a bit perverted? Look at you because I am angry, I will feel very happy. Chapter 122 Wang Min is miserable. Zhang Weilin giggled and said, then come quickly, what are you waiting for? I want more happiness. Xiao Fan looked outside the door and said, aren't you worried about your mother coming in suddenly? Zhang Weilin giggled and said, you can just lock the door from the inside. Of course Xiao Fan followed suit right away. A smart man must listen to a woman at this time. Outside the door, Mu Hong looked at Yu Wenli and asked, I see that you have a strong sour smell all over your body. Mu Hong looked at Wang Min and said, I think your nose is not very good, you smelled it wrong. This sour smell is not from me, it is from other people's body. Fang Min came to Yu Wenli with a sneer and said, Yu Wenli, don't be eccentric in front of your aunt. If you have the ability, let's compete outside. Do you think I'm really afraid of you? If you dare to fight me, you don't know yet. Which of us will fall? Yu Wenli sneered and said, okay, let's go outside to compete. But there is one thing that must be made clear in advance, no matter who suffers or loses when the two of us go outside, we must not cry and sue. If anyone dares to sue, who is the bastard puppy? That barking puppy, Fang Min snorted, come on, auntie, I won't complain no matter how badly I lose. After Fang Min finished speaking, he took the lead to walk outside the base, and Yu Wenli followed. Mu Hong said to herself, whether you want to go or not when there is such excitement, you would be a fool if you don't follow along. Mu Ying hurriedly shouted, sister, wait for me. Su Xia immediately shouted, my good sister, and my sister and I. Fang Lin looked at her mother and asked, Mom, your eldest daughter is so lively, do you want to take a look? Fang Fair thought for a while and said, anyway, I'm idle, so let's take a look together, Fang Fair said, holding her little daughter's hand, and walked outside. The excitement was not in vain. Even if one of the participants was her eldest daughter, she couldn't stop this mother from watching the excitement. Lin Xiao scratched her scalp and said, my mother and younger sister can watch the fun together, so of course I don't have any psychological burden. The rest of the people went out with Lin Xiao to watch the fun. Only Zhang Weilin's mother was still standing outside the door, but after a while she became red-faced, spat softly and said to herself, I'm so stupid, what are you still doing here? I'll go watch the fun too. Outside the base, the excitement soon began, and the expressions on the faces of the spectators began to become more and more exciting. Yu Wenli was simply a bug-level existence, throwing out energy balls one after another, although Fang Min didn't care. It stopped and flew around in the air, but it was impossible to get close to Yu Wenli. Moreover, the explosion of some energy balls was obviously done by Yu Wenli on purpose, just enough to affect Fang Min, making Fang Min's face disheveled and his hair messy, but it did not cause substantial damage. Fang Fair shook her head and said, your big sister is not his opponent at all, or else let your big sister admit defeat. Don't be ashamed here, admit defeat earlier and suffer less. Fang Lin nodded and replied, I also think that the big sister is no match for sister Wenli at all. It is a wiser choice to admit defeat earlier. Otherwise, mother, you should tell her to admit defeat earlier. Fang Fair shook her head and replied, little daughter, you are really strange. How can I, as a mother, ask my eldest daughter to admit defeat earlier? I think it is more appropriate for you, as a younger sister, to say this. Fang Lin shook her head and said, Mom, don't you think it's more appropriate for you to say something like this? You are a mother, so don't you want to watch your daughter suffer and be ashamed as a mother? I don't think you can do this. You are cruel, so you mother must remind your eldest daughter that it is time to admit defeat. Fang Fair sneered and said, little daughter, I find that you are getting worse and worse now. Don't you know what kind of person your big sister is? With her bad temper, who would dare to let her admit defeat? If I dare to make her admit defeat, won't she come directly towards me? Fang Lin nodded and replied, I think what my mother said is very correct. My sister has a very bad temper. If anyone dares to ask her to admit defeat at this time, he will become very unlucky. So our mother and daughter simply just watch the show? It's best not to say anything. Fang Fair also nodded and replied, your daughter is still the smartest. No wonder you are a genius and beautiful girl, Professor. Your IQ is indeed very high. I think your suggestion is very right, even though we and your sister are the closest people, but we'd better shut up and watch the show. Lin Xiao's expression was incredible. Is there anyone who acts like a mother or a sister? Fang Min in the sky is now flying to a higher place, out of Yu Wenli's attack range, but it is obviously not good for her to take this posture now, because everyone has seen how embarrassed she was before. Even if Yu Wenli can't attack anymore, in the eyes of everyone, Fang Min has escaped, and of course the one who loses is Fang Min. Fang Min secretly scolded Xiao Fan, why didn't this stinky man come out? If he had come out earlier to stop that stinky woman, he wouldn't have to be so embarrassed. What is that stinky man doing now? The more Fang Min thinks about it, the angrier he gets. He must be having fun, but he is ashamed of himself here. The more he thinks about it, the more unbalanced he feels. He must improve his fighting skills as soon as possible. If he has the ability to kill enemies like Xiao Fan, Yu Wenli, now I must be beaten to the ground by myself, Do I need to be so embarrassing? But Yu Wenli smiled and said, Fang Min, I think you are flying too high and too far, so high and so far. Do you feel cold? Or you should come down and have a rest, otherwise you will be hungry and tired later. I'm really worried that you won't be able to hold on to the fall. Of course, you just need to make sure you admit defeat now. You are that barking puppy. My aunt promises not to hit you again. Fang Min, did you hear what I said? Hurry up and bark when you hear it. Of course Fang Min heard Yu Wenli's words, but she pretended she didn't hear anything, and kept muttering to herself, don't listen, bastard chanting scriptures. Damn Yu Wenli, please give me a smug look. Wait, one day my fighting skills have improved, I will let you know what regret is, the humiliation you brought me today. One day in the future I will pay you back with 100 times the price, you stinky bitch. Wait for me go. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123. Recommend the second person in charge. Xiao Fan looked at Zhang Weilin tenderly and said, Are you tired? Zhang Weilin shook her head slightly and said, I'm not tired at all, it just hurts a little. Xiao Fan smiled and said, Take a good rest, I'll go outside to see what's going on. It's too quiet outside, I think something might happen outside. Zhang Weilin nodded and replied, Okay, then go and have a look first, don't worry about everything. Xiao Fan walked out of the room and found that there was no one in the base, so he hurried to the outside of the base to take a look. Good guy, everyone was watching the fun. Fang Min was playing tricks in the sky, and Yu Wenli was standing on the ground holding two energies in his hands. Chu was bickering with Fang Min. Yu Wenli sneered, Even if you can fly, so what? Do you think you are a fairy if you can fly? In fact, it is not necessarily a fairy who can fly, a puppy may also be able to fly. Of course, if the opportunity is right, let alone a puppy, even a pig can fly. Fang Min said angrily, Yu Wenli, I advise you not to be too rampant. Your mouth should not be too stinky. This time you have the upper hand, but you can't do anything to me. You didn't win the final victory, so you can't say I'm a dog. If you really have the ability, come up and beat me. Xiao Fan looked at them speechless for a while, and said to all the onlookers, Everyone, hurry back to the base. In case of any accident, unnecessary casualties may be caused. Zhang Weilin's father heard Xiao Fan's words and brought those ordinary people back to the base. Xiao Fan came to Mu Hong and said with a smile, Sister Hong, why can't you persuade the two of them? How can you watch them make trouble like this? Mu Hong smiled and said, Don't you just like to watch the two of them quarrel? Besides, when you are not here, no one is the boss here. I don't have the status like you. Do you think people will listen to what I say? Since there is no listen, why should I waste this tongue? Xiao Fan came to Yu Wenli and said, Okay, don't be arrogant, everyone knows you are amazing. Hurry up and put away your energy balls, I have decided to hold a meeting for you guys now. Yu Wenli snorted, Now that you know it, why did you go? Although Yu Wenli was still very sour, she still immediately put away the energy ball. Xiao Fan looked at the sky and shouted, Fang Min, come down to me quickly, don't let me go to the sky and squeeze you down. If that happens, the consequences will be very serious. So come down by yourself, don't let me do it. Fang Min is still very gentle in front of Xiao Fan now, and flew down very obediently. Xiao Fan looked at Fang Min, he is really miserable, his whole face is dark and his hair is messy like a chicken coop. Xiao Fan said, Fix it yourself, let's have a meeting later. The underground base specially vacated a large conference room. Xiao Fan brought the women's army to the conference room. Xiao Fan first said, I found that our underground base has a serious problem, that is, it is messy when I am away, so I decided to elect a person in charge when I am not around, to be responsible for all matters of the base, and everyone else must obey her orders. Everyone looked at Xiao Fan with great anticipation. Xiao Fan is still very cunning, he didn't directly appoint a candidate, but looked at Mu Hong and asked, Sister Hong, who do you think is more suitable for this candidate? Mu Hong rolled her eyes at Xiao Fan, and couldn't help complaining in her heart, I'm such a bad guy, I don't want to say it to offend other people, you cast me as a villain, do you think my sister and I are really a fool? I won't do such offending things, you will cheat me, and I will cheat others. Mu Hong looked at Yu Wenli and asked, Sister, Who do you think is more suitable? Yu Wenli sneered in her heart. Mu Hong, I have always regarded you as a close sister, but I never thought that you are a scheming whore at the critical moment, and you don't want to be a villain, so you pour this pot of dirty water on my head. You think my old lady is a fool? You can throw the blame and the old lady can do it too. The old lady is more beautiful than you. Yu Wenli smiled and said, do you want to talk about this matter? I think it is most suitable for Fang Min's sister to talk about it. She is born with a pair of discerning eyes and is particularly accurate in judging people. I think the candidate Fang Min's sister named must be the best. The right candidate must be the one who can convince everyone, and of course the one who will make Mr. Xiao happy. Yu Wenli is also a bad woman. Let Fang Min come out to be a villain, and throw out all the big hats. If Fang Min is not killed, Fang Min should be crushed to death with these big hats. Fang Min is not an idiot either. At this time, he said he was a candidate, so who would he choose? Isn't that trying to make other people hate themselves? For example, I think Mu Ying is very suitable. Good guy. You know who wants to be the person in charge, then other people who want to be the person in charge must hate themselves in their hearts. Fang Min coughed lightly and said, I think it's better for Xiao Fan to directly appoint this matter. Anyway, Xiao Fan is the leader here, and his words are orders. Of course, whoever he says is whoever he says, and I will absolutely abide by it. Yes, there will be absolutely no rebuttal. Xiao Fan looked at Mu Hong, then at Yu Wenli and Fang Min. Good guy. Each of these girls is smarter than the other, and her own problem turned around and was thrown on herself. Xiao Fan couldn't help but think in his heart, don't look at these women who say they are very beautiful now, but he really pointed out one person. Believe it or not, other women who have not been designated can hate themselves for a lifetime. A smart man like Xiao Fan naturally wouldn't make such a stupid mistake, so he said with a smile, Sister Fair, I think you have the highest prestige here, and you have a very unique eye for people. How about you? Who is more suitable? Fang Fair was suddenly put on such a high hat, a little flustered, and said happily, I think my youngest daughter is the most suitable. My youngest daughter has been smart since she was a child, and she is also a talented and beautiful girl professor with a very high IQ. She can lead us. It is more than enough, and it is a well-deserved suitable candidate. Xiao Fan immediately agreed. If you don't have any opinions, let's make a decision like this. Fang Lin hurriedly shouted, wait a minute, I have an opinion. I'm really not suitable. My main job now is to conduct relevance research. If I waste all my time on managing the base, how can it's time to conduct relevance research? Isn't it putting the cart before the horse? So I'm the most inappropriate candidate? Xiao Fan nodded and said, what our big professor said seems very reasonable. At this time, we can't put too much responsibility on the big professor. Chapter 124 Lin Xiao was elected. Xiao Fan replied with a smile, it's okay, sister. At least the candidate you recommended just now is a very suitable candidate. Fang Fair smiled happily when she heard the praise, but Fang Min gave Xiao Fan a hard look, but Xiao Fan pretended not to see it. Xiao Fan smiled and said, do you have any other suitable candidates? Can you recommend any of them? No one spoke for a long time. Xiao Fan thought for a while and said, otherwise, everyone will vote anonymously. Everyone can recommend a candidate, how about it? No one objected, but no one explicitly expressed support. Xiao Fan ignored this and said directly, Lin Xiao and Tan Fifei are in charge of the election. Then the relevance election started like this, and finally Lin Xiao and Tan Fifei collected all the anonymous recommendation lists. Then Xiao Fan said, let's start counting tickets now. Tan Fifei began to count the votes, and Lin Xiao was in charge of the relevant statistics. Tan Fifei shouted loudly, Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao replied loudly, I'm already ready, no need to remind, we can start. Tan Fifei said depressedly, I have already started, and the first person to be recommended is yourself. Lin Xiao groaned, with a look of incredulity on her face, how could anyone choose her? You choose someone else. Mu Hong couldn't help feeling proud. You didn't think of it, it was my aunt who chose Lin Xiao. Do you know why my aunt chose Lin Xiao? That's because Lin Xiao is a little funny. If she is the second person in charge, it will be very fun. Yu Wenli felt complacent for a while. She didn't even think that Lin Xiao was chosen by me. Do you know why I chose Lin Xiao? Because I am worried that if I choose myself, then I may only get one vote, and it will be very embarrassing. I think other people will not choose me, because I am very powerful. Women are the most jealous of women. So they must be jealous of me, and they will definitely not choose me. Then I choose Lin Xiao because I won't be jealous of Lin Xiao. Mu Ying felt proud for a while. Xiao Fan, you stinky man, in order not to offend other people, you can come up with such a way, and deliberately follow you to make trouble. I will choose Lin Xiao. What do you think? But in case Lin Xiao gets more votes, can you really make Lin Xiao the second person in charge? At the same time, many people also thought that the first ticket to be sung was their own. Anyway, they chose Lin Xiao for many reasons, but most of them were to make trouble for Xiao Fan, let Xiao Fan play tricks, insist on using this method to choose the person in charge, and deliberately choose Lin Xiao to make things difficult for you, then began to sing other tickets. Lin Xiao, Lin Xiao, Lin Xiao. Later, Lin Xiao herself became numb, and she kept counting there. She kept thinking about it in her heart, and she didn't usually see that she was so popular. Finally, a different ticket came out. Wang Min. Lin Xiao couldn't help but tremble. This is her recommendation ticket. Xiao Fan couldn't help but look at the reactions of everyone present. Who is this? Are you blind? Can you recommend Wang Min to me? Even if I recommend Lin Xiao, I cannot recommend Wang Min, with Wang Min's current temper and personality, and he competes with others at every turn. He is really not suitable to be the second person in charge, and the most important thing is that Wang Min will often go out with him in the future. Of course, Xiao Fan was just complaining in his heart, because after all, there was only one candidate for Wang Min. As for why Lin Xiao chose Wang Min, the real reason Lin Xiao will definitely not tell, because Lin Xiao thinks that women who can fly are the most handsome, so she chooses Wang Min without hesitation. If she was given another chance to choose again, Wang Min would definitely be the ideal candidate in her mind. You can't understand the funny worldview. Wang Min's heart was full of joy. Who is this? Such a discerning eye. This person must be my bosom sister. Looking at my mother also has a look of surprise on her face, which means that my mother is not worthy of being my bosom sister. No. Bah, my mother is my own mother. Why did I get involved with my sisters? Looking at my sister again, my sister also looked surprised, and my sister didn't choose me, which is really disappointing. If he hadn't been worried that he only had one vote, Wang Min would have voted for him. In the end, Lin Xiao got all the recommendation tickets except Wang Min, who got an unexpected recommendation ticket. Lin Xiao was about to cry. She is a dubby, but she is not a fool. She is not qualified to be the second person in charge. Second person in charge, isn't this holding yourself to the stove? In this way, in such a scene in the future, the interstellar iron beetle came to attack his base. What should he do as the second person in charge? Should he take the lead to meet the enemy? If you take the lead to meet the enemy, what is the difference between that and death? There is simply no difference, because I am an ordinary person at all, without awakening any abilities. The key is that I don't have any combat power. Lin Xiao looked at Xiao Fan with tears and begged, Mr. Xiao, I think this election should be invalidated. Everyone thinks highly of me, but I look down on myself. Please forgive me. Xiao Fan smiled and said, Xiao, since everyone trusts you so much, how can you refuse? I think you are the second person in charge. When I am not in the base, everything in the base must follow your arrangements, must take this responsibility. If anyone dares not to listen to you, then I will support you. Lin Xiao cried and said, Mr. Xiao, I can see now that you are a big villain. Why am I the most suitable candidate? I haven't even awakened my abilities. You can't bully people like this, otherwise I will let me cry. I beg you, Mr. Xiao, just let me go this time. Anything that offended you before was all my fault, and now I apologize to you, so that's fine. Xiao Fan looked at the pitiful Lin Xiao and said with a smile, what if I ask you to awaken your abilities now? Do you have the confidence to be the second person in charge, a qualified second person in charge? Tell me, do you have this confidence? Chapter 125 Add-in number 039, S like eating a piece of candy. Lin Xiao nodded very firmly, Mr. Xiao, I have confidence. In fact, Xiao Fan's current thinking is also very simple. Since everyone is willing to choose Lin Xiao, he might as well just push the boat to fulfill Lin Xiao. To be honest, Lin Xiao is actually a very cute girl. Sometimes it's a little funny, but it's really cute. Otherwise, so many people would not choose her, which in itself shows that Lin Xiaoxiao is very popular. This time, the blue sheet I brought back was the last one left. It doesn't seem like a language incubator, so why not use it for Lin Xiaoxiao to help Lin Xiaoxiao awaken his abilities? So Xiao Fan said, since the recommendation work has been completed, I will help Lin Xiaoxiao awaken his abilities now, and everyone should go out for a while and don't disturb us. Mu Hong smiled and left with Yu Ying and Su Xia. Yu Wenli glared at Fang Min and left. Fang Fei took her 2 daughters and left too. Tan Fifei couldn't bear to take a look at Xiao Fan, but turned and left. Then they all left the conference room one by one. Only Lin Xiaoxiao and Xiao Fan were left. Xiao Fan looked at Lin Xiaoxiao and said with a smile, Xiao, I spent a lot of money to help you awaken your abilities. Now there is only the last piece of this precious slice, which was originally intended to be kept for myself. Now that I have decided to give it to you, how can you thank me? Lin Xiaoxiao tilted her head and thought for a while and said, how about I treat Mr. Xiao to a big meal? Xiao Fan said with a smirk, I give you everything you eat, drink, and use. You are using my own things to treat me to dinner. I always feel that this is not enough sincerity. Lin Xiaoxiao answered in embarrassment, then I really can't remember it. Mr. Xiao said, how can we be sincere? Xiao Fan said with a smirk, this is actually very simple. It depends on whether you are willing to make sacrifices or not. Lin Xiaoxiao clasped her hands tightly on her chest and said, Mr. Xiao, you are so greedy. You actually want to get someone else's idea. Xiao Fan actually knew that Lin Xiaoxiao was a tease, and she was teasing her on purpose. Seeing that the effect was almost the same, she smiled and said, I said it's your own dirty heart, okay? Where do you think? It means that you have to sacrifice more of your time to consider our base? What do you think I want you to sacrifice? Lin Xiaoxiao's pretty face was flushed, and she glared at Xiao Fan viciously. You can clearly hear this little girl grinding her teeth and making a creaking sound. Xiao Fan hurriedly said, I told you to calm down, I was just joking with you, so I won't get so angry. Lin Xiaoxiao burst into tears and said, can this kind of joke be made casually? Don't you think it's too much to make such a joke with a girl? Why do you have the nerve to say what you just said? Do you know that this will seriously hurt people's self-esteem? You are desecrating a girl's dignity. Seeing the crying Lin Xiaoxiao, Xiao Fan also felt that he had gone too far, and hurriedly apologized. Xiao, don't cry anymore, let others hear you, and think I've done something to you. I was wrong, okay, now it's like your sincere apology, and I beg your forgiveness. Lin Xiaoxiao suddenly broke into a smile, and said proudly, cheeky Mr. Xiao has admitted his mistake now. He was just joking with you just now. Mr. Xiao must not take it seriously. Mr. Xiao will not be angry, right? Mr. Xiao is only allowed to joke with others, so they can't joke with Mr. Xiao, right? Xiao Fan felt speechless. This little girl in front of her was really weird. Xiao Fan hastily coughed softly and said, okay, we are even now. I made a joke with you, and you also played tricks on me once. Now let's get down to business. This one in my hand, although the slice can help you awaken your abilities, it may also bring you great pain. Are you mentally prepared? Lin Xiaoxiao nodded resolutely and replied, I'm already mentally prepared. No matter how much pain it is, even if there is a risk of death, I don't care at all, let alone regret it. As a female doctor, I naturally know that the risk is directly proportional to the benefit. Come on, Xiao Fan still said very seriously, Xiao, although you have made all the mental preparations. But I still want to tell you one last time, if you regret it now, there is still time. Although this blue sheet is very magical, played a very important role for Fang Min, according to my speculation, it should help ordinary people awaken their abilities. But whether there will be mistakes in my speculation, to be honest, I have no idea in my heart. Lin Xiaoxiao replied, Mr. Xiao, don't talk too much. I will never regret it. Even if your speculation is wrong, I am willing to bear all the consequences. Even if I really die because of this, I will not regret it. I won't complain about Mr. Xiao. I am willing to be Mr. Xiao's experiment. Xiao Fan took off the blue sheet from his ear. This thing didn't have any effect on Xiao Fan for some reason, and then Xiao Fan stuck it on Lin Xiaoxiao's temple. Immediately afterwards a very miraculous scene happened. The blue flakes immediately turned into blue light beams, rushing into Lin Xiaoxiao's head. Lin Xiaoxiao fell into a brief moment of calm, But only about a minute later time, two beautiful big eyes shot a look of incomparable excitement. She shouted excitedly, Xiao, that thing just now is really amazing. I feel that he has formed a mysterious energy in my body, and it seems to have transformed my body. I feel that I am really awakened. It's a power, but I'm still not sure what kind of power is awakened. Xiao Fan secretly shook his head inside. There is really no way to compare this person with another person. Some people's awakening ability is like peeling off a layer of skin, and some people's awakening ability is like eating a piece of candy. Comparing the two, it seems very unfair, just like Zhang Weilan before, and Lin Xiao now. Xiao Fan suddenly believes that there is no fairness in this world. If there is fairness, it must be fought for by his own strength. I just don't know what ability this little girl is awakening now, but I hope it's a powerful combat ability. Now I really need people with powerful combat abilities on my side, and the interstellar iron beetle will grow up soon. With the advent of scale, the stronger the strength of one's own side, the greater the chance of surviving in the future. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.